Oh, Harry, what's up? Man, you gonna put me out here just by myself? Or you gonna join me on here? Oh, he ran away. All right, Harry. I tell you, you're supposed to be joining me over here, Harry. You should go leave me here by myself. Harry, Harry, can you hear me? Henry, can you hear me? All right, folks. I guess Henry don't want to talk to me right now. But let's get while we get ourselves together, let's hopefully kind of play some music right here and wait for the guys to join us.
Download your favorite song at originalhits.com.
Emily desires out. Say that one you know. Emily desires out. Cheche pole. That one you know. Emily desires out. That one you know. Emily desires out. You tell my worry, you said it on your head. I'm telling you, your color will be coaching. You tell my worry, you said it on your head. Yeah, I'm telling you. Your color will be coaching. Yeah, say bisa between Mambula pizza. I say Mona Lisa, what in the your bene isa. Say bisa.
Titus, what's up? What's going on with you, boss? How you doing? Happy Friday to you and yours.
Tabani bisa dewa, oye na dewa blue. Tabani bisa dewa, oye na dewa blue. Tabani bisa dewa. Oye na dewa wu, tabani bisa na dewa o. Oye na dewa wu, dewa ni nu o. Emily bisa yesa o.
Folks, as you join us, do us a favor, share the video, invite somebody, tell somebody else to come and be a part of today's conversation.
Emily bisa yesa o.
A whole lot of things to talk about. This is the closing argument.
Some of them wanna bring you down. See, you don't wanna bring you down. Wait, don't wanna bring you down here. I said, Cheche pole anagayata. Bisabale anagayata. You don't say no man can bring me down here. Oh yeah, say bisa. You doing man pull a pizza. I say Mona Lisa. What in the your bene isa. Say bisa.
Josiah Masale, welcome to the show, boss man.
I say Mona Lisa.
Folks, as you join us, do us a favor, share the video. Invite somebody, tell somebody else to come and be a part of today's conversation again.
Download your favorite song.
We're going to be doing this until we get the rest of the crew members in the building. Enjoy this LIB music. This one is from your man, Teddy Rod.
I'm telling you.
It's called Visa.
You tell my worry, you said it on your head. Yeah, I'm telling you. Your color will be coaching. Yeah,
Jen Saki Connor, welcome to the show, boss.
Mambula pizza. I say Mona Lisa. What in the your bene isa. Say bisa. Between Mambula pizza. I say Mona Lisa. What in the your bene isa. Tabani bisa dewa. Oye na dewa.
Jen Saki Connor is watching us all the way from New Jersey, Atlantic City. Welcome to the show, New Jersey. New Jersey's in the building. I'm telling you. God do our trench code is following as well. Julia Manquin is also following.
Some of them wanna bring you down. See, you don't wanna bring you down. Wait, don't wanna bring you down here. I said, Cheche pole anagayata. Isabale anagayata. You don't say no man can bring me down here. Oh yeah, say bisa. Between Mambula pizza. I say Mona Lisa. What in the your bene isa.
Power Sia watching from Little Iceland in Europe. Hey, how you doing? Welcome to the show, Power Sia. Aaron Zim also joining us. He said, I'm following from Rehab ELW community. Folks, Rehab is in the building. We got everyone in the building tonight. Anita Kui Kanet is following as well. Emma Johnson is following as well. K Plus Kanet, Lofa, you're good. Thank you. I appreciate that. Folks, wherever you're joining us from, we appreciate you. Thanks for being a part of the closing argument today. It's Friday and it's a weekend. I know all of you are getting yourselves ready, prepping up for the weekend. As we fast approach that Valentine's weekend, I'm telling you, a lot of people doing big things. All the ladies getting themselves ready. Fellas, what you got for the lady? My Keff Hassan is in the building as well. And of course, see Touch SCP Noise. Miss Beautiful, welcome to the show. Folks, as you join us, share the video, invite somebody, tell somebody else to come and be a part of today's conversation. Michael Godwin Johnson is following from Bonja, Painesville City. Welcome to the show. Bonja is in the building.
I don't bring you down. See, you don't wanna bring you down. Wait, I don't wanna bring you down here. I said, I don't get you down.
Gadwell Court is watching us from Minnesota. Minnesota's in the building. I hope you're not freezing all day in Minnesota. I heard y'all don't let nice weather. So snow. Wanty M. Clark, she's following this work. Welcome to the show, Wanty. Definitely great to see you on here. D. Brownell Weeks, welcome to the show. Let's hear a little bit of LIB music while we wait for our folks to join us. Today's conversation is going to be a heated one. Do your part. Do us a favor, share the video. Do us a favor, share the video. As you come on, folks, remember, your friends are not my friends. My friends are not your friends. The best you can do for us as a patriot is to share the video. Just share it. Share with your friends and let your friends share with their friends and let their friends share along. And, of course, all of us at the end of the day would have done our part to make sure that the message get across. And Liberians can benefit from the level of intellectualism that is exhibited here. Not only do we try to prefer what we will consider intellectualism, but professionalism at its max. So do us a favor, folks. Share the video. Invite somebody. Enjoy this one. It's from your boy, Teddy Rod. It's at B-side.
You tell my you shot it on your head. I'm telling you.
And of course, the man Ben Sanvee himself is in the building. Of course, patient Lofa babes. Seen my thank you.
I'm telling you.
Jesse Davis is in the building as well. Asata Miller. B-side to somebody's bone. Charles Poor.
Tabani bisa dewa, oye na dewa blue. Tabani bisa dewa, oye na dewa blue. Tabani bisa dewa, oye na dewa blue. Tabani bisa na dewa, oye na dewa blue. Dewa ni nuo, emeni bisa yesao. Say dewa ni nuo, emeni bisa yesao. Cheche pole dewa ni nuo, emeni bisa yesao.
The man Henry Doe. Welcome to the show, Henry Doe. Bobby Quill.
See, you don't wanna bring you down. Wait, I don't wanna bring you down here. I said, Cheche pole, I don't get you down. This about I don't get you down. You don't say no can bring me down here. Oh yeah, say bisa. Doing my bullet pizza. I was say Mona Lisa. What in the oven Isa? Say bisa. Doing my bullet pizza. I was say Mona Lisa. What in the oven Isa?
Manuel Ma. I see somebody's in the building now. I see Henry is in the back. Finally, Henry decided to join me. He told to leave me here by myself, folks. I just thought to share with you that one right there is from your man Teddy Rod. Teddy Rod, another LIB music hit releaser, but we are very much appreciative of you being here. As you gradually get yourself to the rest of the process, we got other folks joining us. We will definitely bring you a fiery show tonight from all angles. A lot of things to talk about in our body politics. But while we bring the big arms, the big guns, and everybody else in the studio, let's get ourselves ready, folks. Do your part. Share the video. Invite somebody. Tell somebody else. The closing argument is here, and we are here to stay. Guys, get ourselves together. St. Tomalin George, Henry.
Hey, Lofa, what's up, man? How you guys doing?
Hey man, you see me wearing my red? We getting ready here. I'm waiting for my Valentine's person to start coming in,
Oh,
and I
let me
don't know.
yeah.
I heard Henry. I heard Henry really got a whole lot coming his way. So I'm wearing my shirt. Whatever goes to Henry, Henry's gonna send it to me. And we share, right, Henry? We share. We
Yeah.
the big boys. What's up, Centamala? What's going on in your inbox?
Not bad, man. Good having like, the weather is changing though. Weather's changing, man. Nice weather. I'm not see. I'm not. We're not wearing thick clothes right now, but again, they can fool you though. Tomorrow again, you get out. It'll be so chilly, you know. But
Yeah.
at least I'm happy the weather's changing. This is a great weekend. One of the biggest weekend in America. Super Bowl weekend, right?
Yep.
Super Bowl
You got
weekend.
that right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a big weekend in America. Super Bowl weekend, having Super Bowl party all around the country. I heard Ben is in Vegas. We flew for the Super Bowl.
For the Super Bowl. Oh man.
Can you
I missed
imagine
that. I
one
missed
ticket?
that. Oh my
One
goodness.
ticket, the ticket cost $9,000, but I heard that Ben and his company they ought to go there, and so we the one who's
Oh,
asked Ben to give him complimentary ticket. He refused. No problem.
but I
And
see.
so we still we'll manage it some way. And then also the African Cup of Nations final is this weekend too, right?
Yes.
Nigeria versus Cote d'Ivoire, right, Henry?
Yes.
I'm rooting for Nigeria. I'm rooting for Nigeria. I root for Nigeria because I
I'm going for Africa Coast.
spent some time in Nigeria there. I root for Nigeria. Yeah.
I
But
really have to
I see people, man. Let's get some shout out to people, man. I see let me see some those Titus Westlaw, Josiah Masale watching from Painesville, District 5. Jay Saki Corner watching from Atlantic City, New Jersey. Gadua Trench Cole, Julie May Queen Dixon, Power Sia Power watching from Little Island in Europe. Hey Lofa. She said she started trying to shout out to Lofa. I see Aaron Zane from Rehab ERW Community. I see Anita Kane, Amos Johnson from Rhode Island, and my old state though. That state I spent 11 years in that state. Yeah, K Plus Connor, my Mato's son from Waterloo, Iowa. Hey, what's up, man? Morris Man, right? Yeah. Michael Godwin Johnson from Bonja, Painesville. Wanty Clark. Wanty, what's up, Wanty? D. Brunel Wicks. Emmanuel Ma from Boston, Mass. Patience Lofa Baby Sema. Yeah, you. Hey, Patience. Daisy Davis from Hightown. Asata Miller from Soul Clinic. Charles Poole. Heron Dole. Oh, Heron Dole. I thought you should be in Rhode Island. I think Massachusetts. Bobby Quilly from Paris, France. Emmanuel Man. Newly Kiki Nao from Iowa. Yes, man. Pilot Orita Where to. Alvin Jones, our boy Alvin Jones from Delaware. Now, ain't that? Ben, ain't that Alvin Jones from Delaware?
Yeah.
Alvin Jones from Delaware. I mean, every last we'll come back. In 6 years' time, we'll be back. Orita Zina. You know, I love you out there. Let me stop here. Let me cut that joking off. Yeah, man. But guys, man, look, it's good to be back in the closing argument, man. Look, let's have fun today, man. Today's Friday. Have all the fun we can have in the world, man.
Most definitely.
Tiola Gibson, why are you yelling, Tomalin and Josh? Tiola Oreo. Great Tiola Gibson. I get how strong when it's a strong ANC. Now hold that, yeah, I give her credit. I get me over 10 trips to Liberia in the last 2 years for ANC Bennett. Her own expense, her money still long. Money still
I
long,
like
man.
you friends with
Oh,
her,
money
right?
long. Tiola money long. I got money long. Tiola money
That's why I
long.
made. That's why I made friends. That's why I made friends with her. I made
Her
friends.
money long.
I only made
No,
friends with rich people like Ben Sanvee, Theola.
So Ben, anyway, I mean, leave Ben's more, yeah.
You better leave me.
The man there around in Vegas for the Super Bowl. Let me leave the man.
No,
Yeah.
where you at,
Wasn't
Ben?
money.
You at the stratosphere? Which part of Vegas you at?
My location is unknown, my brother. Tell me why you announcing my thing all on
Oh,
it?
sorry, man. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, it's good to be here, guys. Good to be
Yeah,
here.
man. It's good to be back. Yeah.
See you. Happy weekend to everybody. Please share the show. I've had a bunch of people. Somebody
Yeah.
posted on the. I had to put the link there. A lot of people still don't know that we're on. Please share the show. Continue to share. In fact, let me do it right now. Let me share it on my page. Somebody said, Ben, I threw you in Vegas. Oh God. Dominic, you see why you not put me in? Yeah, they got.
I'm gonna get a hotel name. No,
I beg you, don't do the thing your other way needs to do.
Stanton, right?
Don't try Stanton style here.
What's up, Stanton? Stanton, the poster I watching your show yesterday. I got those days with enemy. My man Keenan on the show yesterday. Keenan Phillips, the man for them to watch the show. Man, so no, what our show too. Not big deal. We're not enemies. We still all cool. Still don't call me my birthday. I call him birthday. I mean, so I don't know what people can have big deal about that. You know,
great to be here, guys. Great to be here. It's a great weekend. We thank God for life. We thank God for everything. Having the men let trouble too much, man. You know, I mean, we gotta go back to Delaware, gotta go chill with Alvin and Pedro and the rest of the crew. It's a good thing. When you have I'm excited. I'm in a very good mood today. I'm in a very, very good mood today. We thank God for His grace. We are still alive. A lot of good things. The great Morris Ducle.
Chairman Morris Mamadou Ducle Jr.
Chairman Ducle, the strong COP man.
COP USA chairman.
Yeah. Jerry Hina, it's good to see you, my brother. Thank you. You say I'm your favorite political analyst. Thank you for
Saros Sneb Mane.
Yeah, Saros. Oh yeah, Saros. I saw you send me a message in my inbox. I will return your call. I promise. I'm sorry. I just been a little busy.
Wait, Ben, let me ask you. That's confirmation hearing. I was watching it today, but then it ended abruptly, though.
Yeah, I think they said they had to confirm the defense minister. They had to end the defense, the military folks. I think there is some national security thing that they have to have those people in place as soon as possible. I think the defense minister should be traveling on some ECOWAS duty or something. So he needed to be defense minister to leave the country. So I think they put that off. That's what I heard. I don't know, but they put it off the
justice minister he's still there. He's still pending, or what?
I guess maybe next week they will do his confirmation. We'll see. We've been hearing news that they will withdraw him. They will now withdraw him. So we'll wait and see. Look, my mindset is let the president form his cabinet, who he feels can carry out his vision. Let him form his cabinet and give him the benefit of the doubt, right? Give him the benefit of the doubt. Give those people the benefit of the doubt to be able to serve. That's my attitude. Elections have consequences.
True. And with that, let me congratulate my own sister, Her Excellency, Madam Sarah Baslo Yanti.
Yeah.
She's the new Minister of Foreign Affairs and Dean of the Cabinet.
Big deal. Big deal for her.
Did you give me the country a new appointment? Or?
No, I think I did the same thing with Boadi there. It's the one that everybody has seen.
So yeah, should we be making our first trip out of the country next week, right, Ben?
Yeah, I think the president. I think they are supposed to be heading to the AU summit.
The AU summit. Okay.
Yeah. So look forward to all the defense nominees were confirmed today. So we have a new chief of staff, a new deputy chief of staff, a new defense minister, a new deputy defense minister.
So the minister of defense is Prince. He sent me a message. He sent me a message. I congratulate him. He sent me a message. Yeah, and then congratulations, Prince C. Johnson. I met his father, Ben. You know, his father during the Taylor administration, he was the chief of staff.
Yeah.
I remember I met his father. His father passed away. I met his father. But then the guy, so Numeni wasn't confirmed. He hasn't. He's not done yet.
Mm-mm.
You know, Ben, I said that I told the senators and I said y'all watch this video, but then somebody questioned him about it, and but for me, I thought he was
Did
just
he apologize?
He said he apologized somehow, but he was making a defense of it, defending his role that day. But
He'll be confirmed. He'll be confirmed. You're just
look. To be honest with you, Tomalin and Ben, if that man is confirmed, then this speaks to the level of hypocrisy among us as Liberians.
But you don't know that?
If you were listening to
Zolizo's
statement, okay, Zolizo's statement was clear when this man said, if anybody comes on my property, this man, on the other hand, who literally sold himself as that guy who is just waiting to murder another Liberian, if he's confirmed, then it just speaks to where we find ourselves today. Because at the end of the day, to be honest with you, you're not as safe. And Tomalin, you yourself, you're not safe, because that very man who is threatening to kill an innocent Liberian because of this agreement, serving as high as he will be serving, he can actually get up at any time. And you heard him say he has men who are ready to be armed and carry on whatever he asks them to do. So I know today we are talking about somebody else, but I want us to put ourselves in a position of whoever he may have been referring to. This man at the time was without power, and he was making such assertion. What if when he's confirmed to serve in that capacity, where he now controls the Zoe and other people in the country, you know what that tells us? It simply tells us that you and I were not safe. And not to speak of the innocent Liberians who are walking out there without protection. Not a single one of them can talk to him. And it's scary. It is very, very scary. And if these guys dare attempt to confirm this man, it just speaks to how, again, I want to highlight the word deceptive, because the likes of Darius DeLong and other people who were fighting. Matter of fact, Darius DeLong went live almost at least 10 times to highlight the statement and stood against what Zolizo said and made sure that Zolizo was not confirmed. As a matter of fact, that was one of his heroic moments for Darius DeLong. The fact that he told us that he was not bringing transformation to the Senate. So to hear that this guy may possibly be confirmed, it is sickening, and I hope that we will consider having to do something about it, because it should not be this way.
Ben, during the after elections, I talked to some senators, and most of them were telling me, "Say, look, this Senate will be the most aggressive Senate, robust. It will be say the way how people in electoral commission just pass and go through easily. It will be high, even when the budget come. When this come, we're making appropriation. The way look, say Bugger must stand strong. His nominees when he send it to us, the way how we scrutinize them, we'll grill them. But what I see happening so far, the first thing a senator will say, I can assure you, you got my vote. This, I was just like, I said, oh my God, these guys, they're not ready. But, but again, the Liberian people that voted for these people, they know that a problem.
You know why I'm laughing, right?
Or the person appointed Augustine's Corner, and my daughter Cooper, she finally got a job now, right? Oh, yeah.
Somebody was asking if we're on radio. Truth FM 96.1 is the station that we're on. I think we should be on Hot FM, but they have some issues. But Truth FM, you can catch us on 96.1 Truth FM. Spread the word. But you guys know why I'm laughing, right?
Yeah.
Because every time I listen to my brother Lofa, I love the fire. I like the exuberance. I like the hope.
But
I like the in his gut. He just want to go in there and grab them and shake them up, right? That's what I see it on his face. But Like I always say, Tomalin, Tomalin used to be like you. I used to be like you. Tomalin used to be like you. And I keep saying it over and over. You guys have to understand the country that we're in. And the quicker we all realize it, the better off we'll be. I'm not saying we should give up hope. I say we should give up. I'm not saying we shouldn't have hope. But let me say this. He will get confirmed. He will get confirmed because the president wants him as his internal affairs minister. They believe that they should give the president what he wants, which is their prerogative. Elections have consequences. Like I say, when you elect a senator, you're electing a senator for 9 years. That's a child being born. If that senator gets reelected, like Prince Johnson, there's some kids who were born who are 18 years old today. That's the only senator they know. That's a child being born and becoming an adult. That is the magnitude of power and responsibility that we give these men and women, right? I believe that the president let him have his cabinet. I am not over the top about what he said. Yes, it was reprehensible. It was offensive. But it's Liberia. Like you said, Tomalin, you heard him today. I didn't listen to him, but I hear they say he tried to, like you say, he did a semi-apology, but he tried to explain it, and he tried to explain it. They will pass him because the president wants him to be passed. They feel they have to give the president that leverage. The other thing that I'm perplexed about is everybody's acting like Joe Bucker never said that he would publish his assets.
Thank you.
I mean, everybody's, everybody's like, we all going. In fact, I saw people clapping. Oh, the president declared. George Weah declared his asset.
He declared his asset.
He did. He did. But we beat up on George Weah because we said, Mr. President, if you declare your asset and we know what in your asset, then what's the benefit? So, and many of my Unity Party friends, some of them who have gotten appointed in this government today were they were the towering figures calling on Joe make his assets public. I sent a message to my friend and brother Senator Dillon and asked him if he was going to be calling on the president to make his assets public. And his exact message to me was that yes, he was going to be calling on. I'm waiting to hear him do that. But I'm not holding my breath because I do not believe that the president will make his assets public. You'll remember George Weah got beat up when I think a journalist asked him, say, Mr. President, they say you declare your asset, but you haven't made it public. And Mr. President said, then former President Weah said that he did it. He followed the law. The law doesn't call for them to make it public. And plus, he had children to protect. Those were his exact words. Remember?
Yeah.
And it was a talking point. It was a campaign thing that they ran on. How George Weah had all of it. He wasn't trying to make it known. But again, President Joe Bucker has declared his assets, but it's not public. We're not going to know what he's coming into office with. When he's leaving, we will not know what he's leaving with. But again, I'm not holding my breath. I wish the president well. And so, yeah. But it's just fascinating how everybody's acting like Joe Bucker never said he would make it.
Well, I was told that you can request the president to make his assets public if you use the Freedom of Information Act. You can file for it, but again, the courts, it depends on how the courts will handle it. The courts,
Thank you.
They can compel him to make it public.
Yeah.
But again, our courts, whether the courts will be fearless enough to say, well, this person has the right as a citizen, to request that you make your asset public. So I don't know whether he would do it, but again, somebody got to take the lead. But so the idea on the record, he already declared his asset. I think the vice president, I'm not done it yet, right?
No.
Okay.
I just put something in the chat room.
So Tomalin, here's the thing, right? With that. Oh, let me
Kev, you too quiet, man. Come on.
Come in. Let me get
Kev, quickly, and you will like this news, Kev. I just got this, and I put it in the room. I'm coming to send it to you guys, Lofa. The African First Ladies Peace Mission. It's a huge organization. Organization. It's encompasses all the first ladies in Africa. It's kind of like ECOWAS. The peace mission has nominated the former vice president of Liberia as their new secretary general.
Wow.
So she has a big job.
Congratulations, Madam
Yeah,
Madam Jua Taylor
Taylor
Taylor.
has been nominated as the assembly has nominated. Well, anyway, they've
But
nominated.
she's only nominated. She doesn't have the job yet, right?
Well, no, she got it. She got it.
Oh,
When
she
I
got it?
mean,
Okay.
they put out a press release, but I
Okay.
think that's the nomenclature.
Okay.
Mrs. Fatuma Barrow, the first lady of Gambia, is the president.
Okay.
She starts I think it's a 3-year term. The first lady of the Democratic Republic of Sao Tome is the vice president.
Mhm.
And Her Excellency Dr. Joa Howard Taylor, former First Lady of Liberia, former Vice President of Liberia, has been nominated as Secretary General of the African First Ladies Peace Mission. They're based out of Abuja, Nigeria. She is going to be working out of Nigeria. I mean, I think she's going to split her time. But this is a big. I mean, this is congratulations to the former Vice President.
Yeah, definitely. Congratulations, Madam former Vice President. Great to hear that. Um, like I always say, you serve as a role model for a lot of young women. So hopefully this is another inspiring message for young on women in Liberia, and not just Liberian women, but African women as a whole. See reason to step up to what we often refer to as a man's word, especially in politics. So great to see that this kind
Somebody said, "Oh my God!" Somebody said she paid for the position.
pay for the position. So Ben, I want to go back. I want to pivot a little bit on what we started talking about, because it appears as though we often just gloss over some of these major issues that are happening in Liberia, and then we go to other things and we forget about them. The issue of this minister, or what internal affairs minister, okay, whether he apologized or not during his confirmation hearing, I think it's just a way to beg for his acceptance, as compared to being honest in his apology. When he made that statement, okay, prior to his confirmation, what one would have done was to probably appear on a major radio station and again and apologize, okay? Publicly apologize for his statement and show some remorse, not to wait until he was invited for a confirmation hearing. Then he pretend as though he meant to apologize, and then the likes of Darius DeLong and other people will say that, people often say, why are you always speaking on Darius DeLong? You tend to be personal, because again, Darius DeLong and others promised Liberian a change and a much more transformed style of governance. Where is the independence? I heard you, Ben. You said they will give the president what he wants. Where is the independence when it comes to the Senate? Where's the check and balance? Where is it? If the president gets what he wants and they simply just buy into everything the president say, so why are we even having these guys and women in that position? I feel like it's a waste of our money, even though they were elected. Then there's no need to have them, because the check and balance is not in existence. So I agree with you when you say they will do it. That is because they are spineless, in Dara DeLong's words. They are spineless and they just don't care. They use the situation of the people to exploit the people themselves. And this is exactly what is happening here. If this man gets confirmed, it will only show to me that there's no need to even respect some of those individuals that serve in those capacity. While it is true that we will say we must respect our leaders cannot be disrespecting us, show no concern for the people, and then we continue to respect them. At this point, I feel like we're being used as though we're a bunch of clowns, and we're not. So the issue of the president declaring his assets. Look, we are not fools, and we refuse to exhibit that behavior of bunch of fools. I will hope that we will open up the phone lines. Let's get people's reaction to the president mockery of the situation. His attempt to make mockery of transparency when he told us during the election that he would declare and publish his assets. Now he's declaring his assets in a brown envelope. And Liberians simply want to make it seem like that is the most glorious thing that have ever happened in the world. President Weah, like you rightfully said, Ben, declare his asset. He published it. Honorable Boycott, Amara Khan and other people who promised True transparency, lead by examples, are refusing to disclose their access to what is in it that is hidden. What are they hiding from us that they don't want to publish their assets? The man of integrity today is the man of hidden agendas. To President elect, President Joseph Numa Boakai. What are you hiding? And I will speak to the issue of Medela Cooper's, nomination or whatever it is. But again, we want to know what does Medela Cooper bring to the table. But for now, I want to focus on this particular part of it. These two things, I'm going to use this as my talking point for the entire show. I'm sorry, I'm going to sound as redundant as possible. Part of my reason for being on this platform is to highlight some of these things that needs to be advocated about. And the first thing here is the transparency that Honorable Boycott promised us. He's not delivering upon the promises. Secondly, I don't think this individual should be confirmed. Thank you.
Well, but Kev, Kev coming, right? But I just got one senator. I think one of the senators just texted me. He's my question is he asked me a question that if this man apologized publicly, whether I mean, me personally, what honestly for me, I wanted him to show remorse because according to what he said that he said it was during the heat of the moment, but he said in that same video he said I will not take it back. I won't regret. I mean, he made a lot of. I watched the longer version of the video, but today I thought he would have just, instead of talking for long, just realized what he said was maybe he said it in the heat of the moment and apologized. But he made a long justification of why he said what he said, and then he really didn't apologize. But again, we just got to wait and see what happened. But Lofa, lastly, on the issue of the appointments, I will tell you again. See, the appointments the president made today, these people are now subject for confirmation hearing.
I know.
These are personal people. So, I mean, it's his prerogative. Whoever he wants to see work with him to serve in his capacity role is that for him. My daughter is a political advisor. That what he chooses to have her close to him. I think it's his prerogative. That's elections, So I can question him for these kind of appointments, But again, like when the senators in the past government, when they attacked President Weah about his appointments, he said, "But I did my due diligence. I nominated these people, and you guys confirmed them. So what are you guys holding me for? I mean, you guys said it was good to go, so you're attacking me now, which he was right." But Kev, come in, man. But I watched to see what happened with this nomination. I watched it very closely.
First, let me say hi to you guys. For me, I don't see no reason why he should not be confirmed. I think he should be confirmed. I don't know why. I wish Lofa and thank God you're back on. I don't know why. I see you shouting. He should not be confirmed. I don't know why you're surprised. That's the Liberia for you. The head of that committee is a notorious killer. That you're asking why the man should not be confirmed. Are you serious? The head of that committee is Prince Johnson. So I think he should be confirmed because that's the new Liberia you're gonna have. They're used to it. There's nothing. When some of us back then and you used to come on and speak to this issue that there will be a different Liberia. People go on their platform. What they say? Hey, Keff Hassan, you too dull. You this. You die. It's your 25,000. Is this? But welcome to the new Liberia. So I don't think he should not be confirmed. I think he should be confirmed and let that happen. That's a new Liberia. Just this evening. Just this evening, one of our partisan and Wakado was driving home. Somebody just came from the back, take a huge rock and just bust his car. Because why? He's a sedition. That's what they did to Waka.
Wow.
Just attack him, bust his car, glass from the back. This is what going to be, going on. That's the new Liberia. When people will call that you should shoot this person on site, you should do this and do that. If it's when the central bank disagree with you, you gotta witch hunt them. That's the new the peace that you enjoy under George Manawia. Forget it. You're not gonna enjoy that peace under GMB government. You will never. They will go after you. They will hunt you down. They will hunt you down in any way, any means they will hunt you down. And the way that you attack George Manaway and go Liberia and sit down in club and dance and drink your beer, you will not have that anymore. You will not. So know that the radio stations will be closed down. They will attack people. You will not. That's the Liberia. And how do I know that? It happened before. It happened before. Look at this. And Mr. Dillon said we were attacked. We will storm the president convoy. He had a good night's sleep. He enjoyed himself. Akara's Gracie will give bitter Liberia. He slept in jail on Christmas Day. It's there. It's there. So you're not going to enjoy that peace anymore. I don't care what anybody say. The only thing I like about I enjoy about Liberian, they love to be on the other side to shout, to say this, to say that. Will not take this. I think Liberian enjoy that thing. They will see fire and they run. They run back. Yeah. So I think for me, you guys not going to get the Liberia that you enjoy for the past 6 years. Liberia will not be the Liberia anymore. So you're confirmed. Zolizo came out. He took his word back. But who forgave him? Who forgave him? Julius, I remember on your platform you went hard on Zolizo. Dillon was on top of car showing a light bulb and telling people will not confirm Zolizo. But this killer,
he was on top of the car showing a light bulb.
A light bulb will not confirm Zolizo.
What he was showing a light bulb? What are you talking about?
See, put a picture. He there with his light bulb on it.
He was saying he was the light.
Right. You know. So look now. What is that like? Let me tell you. Liberia, certain people believe Liberia that for them they can do anything and say anything, they get away with it. So long they feel that you're not one of them, you cannot say and do anything. That puppy, he will get away with that. He enjoy. Imagine. I want you to picture that. Imagine a guy who killed a whole president sitting on that. In that Senate, that chair, that mic, in that chamber, and talking to another killer. Picture, that's the Liberia there for you. A killer to killer. That's what you vote. You vote for. You vote for this, and that's what you want. Yeah.
Put it up.
The nominee. Killer to killer. Imagine, guys. Imagine in 2024, killer and killer sit down talking. They're laughing at each other. Hey, my man, after you say, you say, my man, I was mad. I was upset. I was upset at a lot of people. I wanted to kill them. You see, Prince Johnson, they're laughing. That's the Liberia for you. That's not a joke. You will have to answer to your children. You have to answer to your children. What happened with the men that took part in the killing of your president, open, and he there nominating, or he there confirming another killer? But the poor boy were not even born, were not even 5 years old, 5 years old in the water, Jefferson Koji. That's the one that said that killer. What kind of stupid place is that?
Kev.
Kev, come on now.
But may I talk my own? Sorry.
Yeah, but we got to be respectful about audience.
Francis Dominic. I mean, I don't know whether he killed. He threatened. He said he will kill somebody, but I don't know whether he killed someone. But he threatened. He said he would do it. So I don't know about that. But again,
there you go again.
But I mean, if he did, I want to know what he killed as well, because I know he threatened to kill someone. I want to know who's critical of him. Yeah, but on a serious note, look, Liberia will be peaceful. Let us be positive. Let us wish the best day for Liberia. Let's pray that our country remain peaceful. Let us pray that we don't resort into chaos. Because maybe for me, I got investment in Liberia. I got my home. I built my home there. I got my projects there. So I'm going back to Liberia a few months from now. I want to go see my project. I want my thing to go, my effort to go in vain. So I want Liberia to survive, to be strong, so that, because we're watching 2029 carefully. We know what will happen. Some of us we know what we're thinking about 2029 is coming. Some of us will transition Liberia before that time. So we got to be positive about Liberia and be hopeful. We have a platform. We have an obligation to make sure that we keep the people informed. And I think, for instance, okay, let me give you an example. I heard something about the Minister of Finance. Somebody told me, say, well, they're trying to get rid of a tenure position. I immediately contacted him. He responded to me right away. He said, Mr. George, no, that's not true. I will still follow through with you. I will call you, you know. That's how you do it. You have a platform, you reach out to people, and you give them the due diligence. Let them respond to you, you know. Anything you hear, you know. For me, anybody who threatening the peace, anybody who trying to take advantage of people, and I'm informed, I will call them. If you don't answer my call, at least I've done my due diligence. I reach out to you, and then I will come to the public and tell the public what happened, you know. So that's how you do it, you know. But let us pray for. Let's be positive. Let's pray for Liberia to be peaceful. Let us. But we can be constructive and critical. Watch what's happening. The president must declare his asset. He declares his asset. Let him make it public. We call on senators then to also follow through and so forth. Let us just monitor what happens.
You will never see that asset to be published. You will never see it.
But Kev, what you do? You go to the court, ask the court to give you the Freedom of Information Act and file for it, and tell them say you want to make it public.
But listen, I don't think JMB did anything wrong by declaring asset not publishing it. That's the right thing to do, because by law. But because we have people, a lot of empty-headed who were after Joe Weah and telling Joe Weah you have to publish yours. I'm not going to go after JMB for not publishing his asset.
But what are you causing everybody over there?
Kev, hold on 1 second.
You know why?
I feel like, no, Kev, I think you're having a free ride. No, but Kev, it's okay for you to disagree with us, but to start using profanities, I don't think.
No.
Tolerate to that.
Listen. When 2014 they passed that law under JMB, the law, people go and say Joe Weah got published. I'm not going. Yes, JMB campaign on that. Yeah, people hold him to that, say he will publish his own, but he did not do anything wrong. It's because of people who are going after Joe Weah and something wrong with them. That's the reason why. What JMB did wrong?
Okay, so let me tell you what he did. Let me tell you what he did wrong here.
This is what. No, Mama, wait now. If you go after him on his campaign, you know, promises, he say I'll probably but what he did by going there, that's the right thing to do. But folks who were just after Joe Weah, that shows that some of y'all were wrong, and some of y'all need to apologize to Joe Weah, and some of y'all, anything happen in Liberia, you'll be held responsible for that, because you were saying something not right. So it's up to you. You need to apologize for your mistake. You need to apologize. You need to apologize for your evil way and towards the past regime. No, seriously.
Okay. So Keff Hassan, I'm pretty sure you're a professional young man and you understand that not everything that is constitutional is moral. Or not everything. No, hold on 1 second. You are not interrupting me, Keff. Keff, stop this. Here's what I'm going to tell you something, right? Look, this is what some of us spoke to when we spoke of transparency. All right, the ethical aspect of it. When President today, Boykai said to us, he stands for transparency. We knew there and then that the law did not force anybody. They were not mandated to publish their assets. But what we ask for in a country that is so polarized with corruption, we are asking to start from a new platter. Let us present something new to the people of Liberia, and that's
JMB did not do nothing wrong. That y'all
when you do that, you know I'm pretty good at that. I can interrupt you easily. I would not do it because I feel like people need to get better.
Do nothing wrong. Let me move on, man.
No, here's my thing. Why it is truth that people stood their ground and against President Weah, who told the people he was coming with change, and he refused to do the basic things that were expected of him. And we refuse to sit here and allow you to say, oh, because President Weah didn't do this. We're not telling you that it is based on the Constitution. We understand that legally they're not compelled to do it. But what we are saying here is the ethical aspect of things. Just be moral enough to say, look, I promise you this on the campaign trail. And based on the man that I am, speaking of integrity, the integrity icon, Mr. Clean Hands, I'm going to disclose my asset to the public to maintain that integrity that I ran on. Okay? We're not forcing him, but we will now continue to say, hey, kids, remember, hey, kids and grandkids will have to pay for some of the behavior that is exhibited as a precedent. I'm not saying it as a threat, but I'm saying everything that is happening here today, we will look at what his kids will have to pay for in the near future. Because your dad or your granddad told us he was Mr. Clean Hands. When he ascended to the presidency, he claimed, in quotation, to have declared his asset, something he beat on President George Weah for, and today he's refusing to do it. That is not making in any way, shape, or form the right thing to do. We are simply saying we are asking Honorable Boykai to do the right thing. And that is not the right thing. Go ahead, Ben.
So Lofa, why are you allowing Keff to get you all worked up?
Because
can't you see that Keff is can't you see what Keff is doing? Keff is, and I'm speaking for him. Maybe let me ask you that I'm speaking for him, right? Keff is being
sarcastic.
He's being sarcastic. That's the word.
I mean,
that's the word I was looking for. Keff is being very sarcastic, right? Keff is pretty much saying that you guys got hoodwinked. Well, not you, because you didn't support the vice president, the former vice president, now president. Keff is saying that the country got hoodwinked, and his argument is all of the things that the campaign on. And then I kind of agree with him. Look, I am of the conviction, and I say this all the time, that elections have consequences, right? When the president nominated Jake as officer in charge at NOCAL, now he has Rosalyn Swakogo Dennis. By the way, congratulations to her on her appointment as the president and CEO of NOCAL. The president of Liberia is on record. He's on tape, stating that none of his family, or at least close family members, Tomalin always talked about that, will serve in his government. But listen, I said this to somebody today. One of the most dangerous and reckless thing you can do is to elect someone who ain't got nothing to lose. Absolutely nothing. The president is more than likely may not run for re-election, except he decides otherwise, because if he does decide to run for re-election, he will be 85 years old when he makes that decision, because it will be 6 years. He's 79 today. He will be 85 in 6 years. The president is not running for re-election. That is the reason why I think that he has probably one of the greatest opportunities here to shift the narrative about what happens in the country. Because he really doesn't have anything to lose. He doesn't have any political favors to go back to. You know, it's the same thing when people talk about Weah and Prince Johnson. Maybe President Weah was pandering to Prince Johnson because he thought he needed Prince Johnson's support in his re-election. But even with that, he decided that he didn't need it, and so he went and allowed it to go, right? But President Joe Boyka ain't got nothing to lose. As it stands right now, he more than likely not even coming back to you to say you'll vote for him. He may not. He may not come back. Or he may decide to come back. If he decides to come back, then that's another story. But I will say this. All of the things that we're saying here, the Liberia that I know, the politics in Liberia that I know, if President Joe Boakai, and by the way, I sent a message to Press Secretary Kula Fofana. I sent a message to her and asked her, is the president going to make his assets public? Or was it just a campaign statement? And she didn't respond to me. Just for the record, she only responded to the congratulations because I had sent her a congratulations message. Tell her congratulations on becoming press secretary. And she responded, thank you, my brother, blah, blah, blah. I also asked her, when is the vice president going to declare his assets? Because I thought it was going to be both of them declaring that asset. Look, if you follow what is happening, the president knows his base. Look, Joe Boyka is like Donald Trump in this light, right? He knows exactly what his base is going to chew on. He ran on this notion of audit. He ran on this thing of I will declare my assets, I will make it public. He ran on the thing about fighting Kush. Pray God tell me, Lofa, why did the president have to take a drug test? Whoever accused President Joe Biden of drugs, nobody accused him of it. What I thought he would have done, or what I thought he would have said, I said it before. I thought he would have probably issued a statement or make a statement declaring the issue of drugs in our country a national security threat, name an effective task force. I'm not talking about the bureaucratic thing that they announced with auto ministries. By the way, we haven't heard anything about that. And in his State of the Nation address, he said he was setting up a committee, right? With the Ministry of Health, the Ministry of this, the Ministry of that. Have anybody asked any question about what is the status of that committee? What's the TOR of that committee? Nothing. He fed his base. His base chewed up on it. They did. And guess what? It was a talking point for a couple of days. Have anybody talked about Kush in the last two weeks? Nobody have talked about Kush. The only thing we know is the president went.
We don't have Kush in Liberia anymore.
Right? The only thing we know, the president went and took a drug test. What was the essence of the president going to go take a drug test? Is taking drug tests the issue in Liberia? Do we have a bunch of government officials running around like zombies? No. The issue of drugs in Liberia is on the streets. It's on the streets. The young people, right? Those young people, let me distract.
Let Keff put it up. Let Keff put it up. It's okay.
The issue of drugs, right? The issue, I bet y'all take it down when I finish. The issue of drugs, right, for me, is a serious issue. And we do not need lip service. When the president decides that he will go take a drug test, I am still waiting to find out what was the reason or what did it do? Did the president go visit a drug center? By the way, there are 6 of them across the country. Have he set up a task force to say, you know what? Let's take these young men off the streets. Let me name a task force. Maybe I can name the first lady or somebody to head this thing and get back to me. No, none of that happened. On the issue of asset declaration, what did the president do? President got up, got in his convoy, went with his presidential folder and handed his assets over to the LACC. When he walked outside, the press asked him, he said, you know, I promised that I was going to declare my asset. If the president was if that asset was supposed to be made public, the president would have stood up right there in that LSCC place and say, oh, and by the way, I know it is the law that I don't have to make it public, but Mr. Chairman, or Madam Chair of the LSCC,
Please publish it.
Giving you permission, or not even do that. Before he even go and declare, the executive mansion would have published his assets online. That's what he would have done. He has no intention of making it public. So I'm not going to waste my time to talk about it, to say, oh, he can do it. He's not going to do it. He understands, Lofa, that his base is going to chew up on it for a couple of days. And what they did, that's exactly what they did. You saw it all over the place. Oh, promise kept. President Boyka declared his asset. It's done with. Liberians, like I always say, guys, we are not good at sustaining advocacies.
Thank you.
We talk about something today, and tomorrow something come up, we finish forgetting
about it. But Ben, please let me just come in 1 minute. I want people to understand this thing, and I will and Lofa, you one of the people I will speak to. I am not going to be that opposition who will attack Joe Buckeye on something because you guys attacked George Weah in the past. Because some of the things you attacked George Weah was wrong. So we just telling you that you attacked George Weah for nothing. George Weah was right. You attacked George Weah, you're not publishing your asset. We're not going to come and say, Joe Buckeye, yeah, you publish your asset. No, we will remind you. We will remind you and tell you what you did to our government. You were wrong, and now you see it. We told you that we were right. But you persuade the people to vote against us because you were wrong. And we will not come to you and join you to go against something that is right. I will not do that. So if Joe Buckeye do anything that with the law and Joe will accept do that law, we will remind you because what you did to the country and what most people did to the country, you make George Weah look like he was doing something wrong. And which, of course, he was not wrong. Joe Buckeye was one of the people, he was the vice president that passed that law in 2014. But because they fool you, you jump into that. So next time you'll realize that you just have to, you don't look out because you call us someone else that would do. So you read. You read it. The girl one read it, but you decide just to go out and protest against George Weah because he published his asset. No, Joe. What JMB is telling you, I fool you. I will not do it. I fool you. I told you guys. I know you guys don't have sense. That's what he's saying. You see, you always don't listen to what people are saying. What they are not saying, interpret that. He's telling you, look how my people I gave you. I go and see you. I fool you. I will do that. So we are not going to join you guys to fight that fight your day to us. We'll remind you, we will fight our good fight because we want change for Liberia, not the same thing over and over. So we're not going to fight that fight. We're not going to.
Okay, so
okay.
You wanted to close up on something?
Yeah, let me close up quick for Tommy to come in. So that was what I was trying to say. For me, look, I'm looking at the substantive issues here, right? Even the issue of audit, right, Lofa? Even the issue of audit. Why do you think all this noise is going around with audit? It's because it's a talking point. It's a red meat that he's feeding to his base. Look, the man understands, like I said, it reminds me of the Trump MAGA crowd. When Donald Trump said, I will build a wall. I will build a wall.
Mexico will
I will
pay
get
for it.
Mexico to pay for it.
Oh, blah.
4 years of Donald Trump presidency, he started building the wall. By the way, guess who were paying for it? Americans were paying for it. When he ran in the re-election, they asked him, he said, I'm still making a good deal. I'm still working on it. I'm still making a great deal. The president knows his base. The president knows that his base will chew on all of these things. You got to respect Joe Buckeye.
No. Yes, I agree with you, man. He know the minds of the people.
This is a man who ran for president. He ran for president. He was the least working politician in the country. He went nowhere. He sat at his home in rehab.
Yes,
He talked about the fact that, he want to rescue the country, think Liberia, love Liberia, build Liberia, right?
Sweet talk them.
The overarching hatred for the Weah administration blinded the face of a lot of people. And this is not about defending the Weah administration, because there were lapses and faults in the Weah administration. What I'm saying to you here, Lofa, is this. And Tomalin, you coming in 30 seconds, right? This is what I'm saying. Look, if one thing you got to give the Unity Party people, they know their base. They know what their base will chew.
Yep.
And unfortunately, their base is the loudest. And so when Joe Boyka goes and he take a drug test, when he goes and he gave his assets without making it public, and he goes and he announced that I'm going to audit the National Security Agency. I'm mandating the GSA to audit the National Security Agency, the Central Bank, and the EPS. Boom! There is a carnival. Everybody's celebrating.
Oh, yeah.
What happened? Look, if the president was, and guess what? You know how long audit takes? You know how long audit takes?
Yeah, it's not going to be 1 month, 2 months, 2, 3 months.
Watch and see. In the end, nobody's going to talk.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this question, Ben. Let me ask you this question. Let me ask you a question for Tomalin. This 40 million, if that the other way around, what Unity Party?
Keff Hassan, you have the opportunity to speak to it. Do it and stop shifting blame and be lazy.
I'm not asking you. I asked you that. Ben, what would be happy right now?
Well, I mean, it is.
I guess I'll try to see what you're saying, Ben.
But it is clear.
They know how to send the red meat.
Yeah, but it is clear, right? But it is clear.
They're very good at it.
But it is very clear that, listen, the Unity Party machinery is good at what they do. Mm-hmm. They will continue to pander this. They will continue to push this narrative. Mm-hmm. You saw the central bank people came up, and the central bank people said 40 point something million was in the account. What did the president's office do? They doubled down. In the statement calling for the audit, they stated in that statement, again, what he said in his State of the Nation address. Nobody raised an issue about it.
They know it's lying.
At the end of the day, we are where we are because the president knows his base. And guess what? Let me say this. I can't hate on the president for knowing his base. Because you know why, at the end of the day, Tomalin and George, that's what politics is about. Politics is about controlling the narrative, feeding your base what you need to feed them, and doing what you think you need to do to be able to stay relevant and to keep the news in your favor. And that's all he's doing. And I can't fault them for that.
And guys, it's good that we have this platform to talk, because the Honorable Vice President just informed me that he's almost done declaring his asset. Okay, so he just apparently
will he publish it?
I don't know, but he just said he almost done.
Can you ask him?
I'll ask him what he published.
Why you asking? But guess what? Guys? Let me say this. 30 seconds. Guess what? He will not publish it. You know why he will not publish it?
Because he don't want to undermine the president.
He will not make his boss look bad.
He doesn't want to undermine the president.
Make his boss look bad. He will declare it, right? But he will not publish it. So here's
my thing, right? This is where the likes of Keff and other people show how lazy they are mentally and in so many other ways. Simply because you want to be lazy, it did not work for you, and people challenge you in the process. So you're saying to everybody else, now we are evildoers. So we should not hold other people accountable for their actions. Let me tell you something. Maybe you don't understand what advocacy is. You fight for what you believe in until you can achieve that goal. There's not simply this. That was not about a George Weah government. We were not targeting individuals. We were honestly asking for a transformed nation. We wanted the young boys and girls who are in Liberia, who are threatened on a daily basis, whose lives are at risk every time, rape cases not being judged or whatever it is, investigated, okay? Adequate education, quality education, like you and myself, our kids have quality education. The boys and girls in Liberia, unfortunately, it is not provided for them. We fight for a transformed Liberia, not because we want a job. And that's why some of us have made it clear.
Why other people are celebrating their colleagues having to fight and crawl on their knees for job? We are saying our fight was to transform a nation, not to crawl and beg for jobs. Our fight was to give hope to the hopeless, those whom you promised you would have changed their lives. You turn your back on them. The young men who have not had the opportunity to experience true professionalism at a job, career opportunities are not provided. And that is why some of us sit on these very platforms night in, night out, and we commit ourselves to fighting for a true change that we believe in, because we don't have any desire in jobs in Liberia. We have done our part, and we will continue to do that. Okay, so you need to stop
Okay,
this
let me
whole
answer
idea.
you.
You need
Let
to
me
stop
answer
this whole.
you
No,
now.
let me land. Let me land.
And I will
You
answer
need
you.
let me land you, and I'll give you the opportunity to land. You need to stop this whole idea about people having to keep quiet because they advocated against bad governance during George Weah's term, and George Weah was removed from office, so they should no longer advocate for good governance with President Joseph Boakai. That is not what it's about. This is about the change that we want, and we must experience that change. I wholly believe, and I can tell you this with every ounce of breath in me, I believe we will experience change in Liberia. We will experience change. You can believe what you want to believe. But those of us who stand for true change, we will continue to fight for true change in Liberia. I know how you feel about it, Keff Hassan. Other people deceive you, that you were misled to some extent, so you don't think you can ever experience it. The CDC promised you they would change Liberia, and you know where you found yourself. At the end of the day, they didn't do half of what they promised. So now you're frustrated. So you think we should simply keep our mouth shut and
Keep
just allow
highlighting.
you to
You
get
do
away
well.
with it.
Keep highlighting.
Thank you.
But let me say this though. Let me say this about
Keep
Sorry,
highlighting.
let me answer my brother
when it
quick. Let
comes
me
to
answer my brother Lofa quick. I beg you, Mr. Moderator. I think your advocacy under the judge Manawia was misplaced. The reason I say so, right?
Not his place.
Yeah, the reason I say so, you thought you were advocating, but you're doing something wrong. Because the reason is, I am not going to come here and say, Joe Boka, you publish your asset, you're wrong. I will only say you made your promise, stick to your promise. But he's not wrong to now publish his asset. I will ask him and say, this is what you promised the people, do it. Right? That would be my line. What they did to George Weah, they refused to acknowledge that George Weah was right. The former president was right not to publish it because you are going according to the law. They say, oh, moral ground. Oh, they say moral ground. You can say all you want to say, but don't get on the streets and say you are wrong not to publish your asset. You must first acknowledge that he followed the law. Get it out of the way. Follow the law. Then you can come out and ask and say, hey, it would be better for you to do that. But there was so much of anger on George Weah and JMB and the president of Liberia now, as smooth as he is a smooth operator. He's so smooth that most of the guys have fell in line what that's going after. We are not going to advocate and on the wrong thing. We from the CDC we will hold the government feet to the fire on the right thing, not to come out and say because the paper declare asset, we will hold him. What we're going to hold him, we will say, you made that promise, stick to that promise. But we're not going to tell him you're wrong, what you did, but we're going to stick to the promise, what he made. What they did to us, we were following the law. They went in the minds of the people and make the people believe that former President George Weah was wrong. And we're not going to fight that fight because the thousands of our young people out there who will sit down in their tie shop, in their homes, in their school, and believe it's wrong what this person is doing.
Be complete in your statement. Wrong to what
So
extent?
you guys advocacy was misplaced. For example, you're talking about the war crime code, right? Jeremy put it in his statement, in his inauguration statement. It left with him to pursue it and send in a communication to the legislature. The president himself cannot declare war crime code. The president can go to the legislature. They can, but the president can set up an office. There's things the president can do, but that should be approved by the legislature. You understand? So we will push JMB for his promise and go to the legislature. But what they did to us, they made the Liberian people believe that Joe Weah can wake up in the morning and say war crime code, war crime code. No, it don't work like that. So we're going to teach them, we're going to teach those guys how to advocate for the right thing, because when we come back to power, we don't want them to bring that same thing to us. So we will teach them. We're not going to go that route. You'll go to fool the Liberian people.
So Kev, let me help you understand. Let me help you understand something, right? So Kev,
it is good to declare. It is good to. I mean, the law is the law. It's good to declare your asset when you come into public office. It's good to tell the Liberian people what you come into office with, how much you're worth, so that let's say I have a house with 2 cars and maybe a farm, and maybe I got about $50,000 in my account. The Liberian people know. Let it be aware, so that after 6 months, it is Tomalin George with this. Somebody said that Tomalin George's house being a big somebody's mansion. It's what they call performance audit. I mean, lifestyle audit. That was former candidate Gonglo was very keen about. He said he should have become president. He will call for lifestyle audit. Okay, to see how you tell people where you getting this money from to do these projects. Because you say this is what you worth, and we know this how much you make as a official of government. So I'm offered asset declaration. I'm all for making it public. That's why I will say again. Say we're going to say about Delon. I admire Delon. Delon declared his asset. He made it public. He said everything. He said how much money he has in the account, what he owns. He said it public. If all officials can do it, it will be the best thing. You have a platform. I don't know where we have opposition party right now, because since the election, opposition party, I think I've not heard no much strong party come. The party I'm not speaking up really. Nope. CC being making some sound bites. I understand, but right now, the opposition party is your job to hold the ruling party accountable. You hold them the promises they made. Like when President Baga was campaigning, he said he will do work crime code, he'll do audit. If these things are not done, you have the right to go and hold them accountable. You to make sure you take them to tax. Now, on May 1st will be President Baga 100 days in office. Usually, what president would do, they will have a press conference announcing the 100 days in office, and will tell you all what they have done in 100 days, what they accomplished it. So for me, as I said, we are jealously watching the process. We are following the process. We'll follow the process. At the end of the day, we'll be able to come and say, well, let's find out what they have done, what they said will do 100 days. I think today they delivered their 100-day deliverables. I think I saw the document. I don't know what you guys saw it, but I saw it. So let's see the 100-day deliverables they submitted to the Liberian people. Let's see what they will do in the first 100 days. So now, as an opposition, I'm not opposition. I'm a panelist right now. I'm a panelist on the closing argument. So our job is to make sure that we hold them accountable and everything. So right now, as far as I'm concerned, I'm a panelist on this show, and I will play that role until come the right time. But right now, let us watch and see what will happen. If anybody fails to do it, you hold them accountable. Welcome, Duke.
So Tomalin,
welcome,
Tomalin, there are 2 things to this entire process here. All right, what we speak of, and there's for some reason, I believe he doesn't get it. There are 2 aspects to this entire asset declaration process. When we say to you, look, let us declare our assets and publish it. You promise the people you will declare your asset and publish it. Then you come back and do half and leave the other half. The likes of Lofa Julius and other people will come back and say to you, it is wrong. We are not speaking of the fact that you declare your asset. We told President Weah the former president, that he was wrong for not declaring and publishing his asset because he promised change to Liberians. We're not telling legally he did anything illegal. We did not say that. But because of what Liberians were promised, we held him accountable. You can't promise the people change and you do something correct. The reason why
we have never promised that he never published his assets. He never said that.
He did not. He promised change. The change would have been what Madam Shalif did not do. What Madam Shalif did not do, he would have done. In contrary to change is not to repeat what was done before. Okay, Madam Shalif did not declare and publish her asset. President Weah promised change, so he would have done just that. Unfortunately, it did not happen. We asked for it, it did not happen. So many other things did not happen. So we are now telling you, Honorable Boycott on the campaign trail promise he will declare and publish his asset. Let him do the reputable thing. Let him be a man of integrity, declare and publish his asset so that we know what he stands for, not to simply have it by words of mouth.
I agree with you that we should hold him accountable.
Let's give other guys chance to come in. Let's hear from Mr. Bongo and Duke Chance. Let them weigh in.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I watched you guys yesterday. Good to be back. But yeah, what I was saying, Kev, I listened to you when I was trying to log in. You know, sometimes we say two things can be right at the same time, and sometimes two things can be wrong at the same time. You know, on the issue of asset declaration, there's some. I will make a general statement here. It doesn't have to be backed by law, but leaders lead.
Thank you.
And followers follow. Here was the first mistake George Weah made. When President Weah did not publish his asset, all the ministers, Abetua and others probably would have wanted to publish your asset. But you cannot be more than the president. That would be undermining your leader.
You're talking about publish his asset?
Yes.
Okay.
So all of them declare, but because President Weah did not publish it, they could not go publish it or make the president look bad. So President Weah was leading by example. And that example was a bad example, and people follow him. In this case, President Bouaka is known to be the transparent, the modest Omer that is going to bring sanity to government. At least that's what they campaign on. So on the question of declaring his asset, yes, the law is not clear on that. The law does not require you to go and publish it. But I will tell you this because I served in Salif government, the first term, not the second term. The first term, there was no code of conduct. I was working with Samuel Kofi Woods. Before Samuel Kofi Woods could take office, he published his asset in the Data Observer and the Inquirer. I know this for fact. He published, in fact, that was the first time I got to know that Kofi Woods had some money in New York. I've known him for a long time. But because he made it public, I said, oh, he got so much money in New York, you know, in some investment in New York. But I didn't know all that. So leaders lead by example. I think it's not late. The president has said he has declared his asset. I will appeal to President Bouaka. You promise to bring sanity to the nation. Publish your assets. When you do that, all the ministers will follow suit. Even the law does not require them. But the fact that the leader, the boss, has published it, they will all publish it. And I think it's a good thing to do. Okay? Look, people follow leaders. President Weah started wearing what? Purple suit, right? Everybody was wearing purple suit. I think I saw somewhere, Keff Hassan, in fact. Okay? When President Trouble was wearing a suit, high suit, everybody was wearing high suit in Monrovia. When President Tomalin was cutting his hair, we're in the village. Our parents would cut our hair.
Where this small hair, cut other one. Yeah.
Leaders lead and followers follow. If we're going to fight corruption, corruption is an epidemic in Liberia. So that one of the best ways to do it, we can't say you promote transparency But then you can't promote transparency in secrecy. Publish your assets. We want to know if he got 16 houses in Monrovia. We want to know. We want to know if he has, because there's so much rumors. Some people say, look, President Bouaka is a modest man. He's not boastful, but he actually got a good bit of real estate in Monrovia.
I think there's a lot of twisted things
That
happening.
would be clarified if he publish it.
No, I think there's a lot. Duke, I'm sorry, my brother. Duke, and 30 seconds before Duke come in. You see, we have to let the people know that. Yes, I agree with you. If that is part of your campaign promises, live to it. I agree with that, because Borkai said he will publish his assets. He will not be like George Weah. But we also need to do one thing again. We need to go to our lawmakers to change it. To change it. Instead of having this debate, moral ground, moral this, moral ground. No leader, nothing there to say that they should and publish their asset. So what we need to do, instead of be doing all this fighting back and forth and all this, we all know that JMB was lying. We know that. We told you that he was lying. He's not going to do it. But at least let's go to our lawmakers and tell our lawmaker, change it. We can do it. But we prefer to argue than we do it. So that law needs to change. Amend the law. Put it in there. So for me, George Weah did not campaign that he will publish his asset. No, he did not. So he was right within the law.
He
So
campaigned for change. He campaigned for
Yeah.
change.
Yeah.
Change means you detract from a traditional thing.
Calebo,
Thank you.
Calebo, let
I
me tell
said
you
that
this.
earlier. I
Calebo,
just
let
said
me
that
tell you
earlier.
this. Let me tell you that you're experienced man. I beg you, my brother. Change doesn't mean you should go against the law. Change doesn't mean that.
How is publishing your asset going against the law?
No, change doesn't mean that. The law is the law. So long the president follow the law, if you disagree with the law, if you disagree to the law, go to your lawmaker.
I hate to keep do that. Hassan, there is no law that prohibits you from publishing your law.
There's no law that forces you also to publish.
So the law is silent on that, right?
So what you need to do?
If you do that, it's not a violation.
So what you need to do? Change the law.
I mean, I agree. We need to change the law. But if you say you are a changed person and you're going to promote transparency,
what we need to be talking, what we need instead of the moral ground, which of course, what we need to be arguing on, if you made that part of your campaign promises, live by it. That is the argument. DMB promised us, so we will hold him to publish his assets. That's what I'm talking about. Don't go to the law.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. Look, it is becoming exhausting to just continuously talk about the issues. When some of the things are so simple to see through, right? And we come and re-echo. So the right thing to do is that it will publish in the assets. I guess the logic behind that entire process is to show that we're credible, what we've stated, and we stand by. We were trying to tell the Liberian people that we have not, itemized any ill-gotten wealth, just accountability. So on that backdrop, I think it will be, a good thing to make that particular asset declaration public so the Liberian people can see for themselves. But I also understand what Keff said in terms of that. One of the trending or the consistent issues in our country that we see has to do with our constitution. We're still operating under a PRC constitution, and there's not much that has been done to kind of revisit and see how best we can rectify, we can be able to amend it, to be able to change some things on there. I think until we do those things, we will have a lot of loopholes when it comes to, our laws that gives people, an opportunity to be able to do whatever, they feel that is necessary. But, overall, I mean, he has taken a step. Technically speaking, yes, the president promised to declare assets, to make it available. People can hold him to that. But then also from a legal standpoint, from a constitutional standpoint, I think he's done his due diligence. But again, as a leader, it will be good to be able to set the example, especially when you're pushing this measure of transparency to be able to make things visible to the general public. That's how far I would say on that issue. Overall, I think that these few days, some steps have been taken. We wait for the first 100 days to see how some of these things have been able to impact our form of governance and the Liberian people. But it's welcoming to take that. But I think there needs to be more in terms of just declaring assets, because we want to get the verbal aspect out of the way. And there has to be an intentional process that shows that, look, the whole concept of asset declaration is to make sure that we're not hiding anything. We're being truthful about what we've said before, who we are. But when you start doing certain things, then the racist eyebrow, every side of the argument, will be right on that issue. But I think we need to be transparent and we need to be truthful upfront when we're going through these asset declarations.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
so-
I can get chime in on this quickly.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do raise a very important point in passing. We are still operating on the constitution of the military government. The constitution of the First Republic was basically driven by Joe and his cohorts, right? So there are things in the constitution that one will probably shaking your position today and say, you know what, can we amend this? Look, so President, we are credit. The other time I was driving, it just dawned on me. President, we have made a very beautiful proposition. Now listen, let's reduce the term of the senator. 9 years, that's too much. Let's bring it down. Let's go back to the Amos Sawyer proposal, because the Amos Sawyer constitution was 4 years term for president and representative and 6 years for senators. Let's go back to that. But we in the opposition at the time, I was in opposition, I'm saying we, even though I didn't buy that, but we in the opposition at the time led a campaign against that.
Yeah.
That it was a bad thing of where wants to change his tone. In hindsight, when we look now, the fact that we are accepted defeat by the Liberian people, I'm sure Dela and all also now say, because they were leading on this thing a lot, they will say, you know what? If they actually believe that it is good now, they will step by and say, we probably would have gone where we are today, and all the senators elected will be running 6 term, and this president will be 4-year term, and representative will be 4-year term. It just don't, because that was something good that would have benefited the nation.
So
we against it. I'm just making reference to what Jay said.
Yeah, I agree.
Look, even in addition, like do in the Constitution, I believe, I'm not sure on the article. I'll look for it before the end of the show. I'll give that reference. The Constitution is very clear. That section that deals with impeachment. The legislature, the legislature, towards the end of the sentence, shall prescribe the procedure for removal of elected officers and judges, right? Up to this point, since 1986 Constitution, no legislature has prescribed removal clause. How to remove people. Cabinet General, mind you, that argument was raised when Cabinet General was being impeached. The whole legislature did not come of impeachment procedure. Up to this time, we don't have impeachment procedure where 2 houses have agreed on. So, take for example, if President, I'm not going to give example on the president. Say, a Supreme Court justice decide to go on 8 months sick leave. If you want to impeach him, you can't just remove it. You got to impeach the judge. What is the procedure? There's no procedure yet.
So Mr. Gonglo, here's my point of contention, right? And I am not saying the idea of amending the Constitution is a bad thing, because we all support that idea. It's a good thing. But we must have a starting point. And that starting point would be the ideal leadership that is exhibited by those who made the promises on the campaign trail. Okay? Again, because we are incentive driven. If people start to see the result from this level of transparency that would be exhibited by the president, the senators, and other people, you will see that once it is suggested to them, let us amend the Constitution to this particular part, people will buy into it. Unfortunately, for the society we find ourselves in today, due to the level of gullibility, to some extent, people will simply not buy into it when the likes of Keff Hassan and other people come to them and say, oh, those are opposition guys. They don't want you to know the real truth. They'll be like, okay, yes, it's true. But when they start to experience and sense the result of these things being exhibited, they will buy into the idea. And I'm not faulting anyone for suggesting the idea of amending the Constitution. It would be a great way to twist the arms of these individuals to say, constitutionally, it is required. But until we get to that point where we can have it instituted, I think it is only fair for leaders to lead by example. Let Honorable Boykai and other people who promise, like Amara Kane. I know we're focusing on Honorable Boykai, but even Amara Kane, he said he was going to declare his asset and publish it. We are yet to see his asset declaration and see that it was published. So this is why we are saying, as the gateway to transformation in Liberia, it is upon you and I to hold them accountable to make sure that those things that were promised are done, and then we can move forward. We can't simply say it's not a vital part of our discussion.
And you know, quickly, Tomalin, Lofa's right. Everybody's got a point. You know, I honestly encourage all of us to start looking at the issues in Liberia from, you know, a balanced standpoint. And here's what I mean. And I think a lot of times we're focused mostly on the leaders, and rightfully so. I think we should sometimes. But in the case of Liberia, I think it is now time that we start shifting some blames on the people, because we have said a lot of positive things over the years. We have spoken truth to the power. We've poured out our hearts. We've poured out our intentions. We've actually challenged systems and talk about all of the ills in Liberia, right? It comes down to the people of Liberia. They have to be serious about transformation. They have to be intentional about what they deserve the most. Because if the Liberian people are not intentional about what they want in terms of governance, I don't care how we talk, right? It becomes one of the most difficult things, right? Because then we're fighting against leaders who are supported by the people. Case in point, the last election was, was a perfect a lesson, to all of us. We sat here, we talk about all of the things that Liberia needs, all of the things that we believe that will be transformational, how we see leaders in Liberia, and the kind of leadership that Liberia needs to be able to move forward. Well, after the first round of the election, the Liberian people told us that they're still comfortable with everything that's happened in our country by going for both political parties that have been part of the issues in that country, right? So some soul searching needs to be done. And yes, we'll hold the leaders accountable, but this is now time that majority of our arguments start putting the blames on the shoulders of the Liberian people. Because if you were serious about your leaders performing to protect your interests, you will be vocal about these things. You'll be supportive of these ideas. You'll be able to stand firm and say, these things are not right. We need to see things happen a certain way. So a part of the blame, goes to the Liberian people. They should start telling themselves what is important for them, because I don't care what we do going forward, right? The most difficult part is fighting for something and knowing that these things are right. These are things that we shouldn't even be killing ourselves about. But, some people get away because the people that support encourages those kind of behaviors.
Guys, look, let's make progress. Next week, hopefully next week, we can have a whole show on the Access Declaration. But almost a month, the new government will be in power almost a month by next week. So we'll talk about the Access Declaration. But, because honestly, I don't know why people will not want to declare the asset to tell the people what you're coming into government with. If you don't do that, you start hearing rumors about. Somebody was telling us, I think on a call this morning, and somebody was telling us that, I won't call names, but some official who are just appointed already fencing the house. You see, because it is important. Because now the person say, "Oh, the person already fencing the house. The person already doing this one. They're doing this one. They already building. They already got a brand new car." That's because if you not declare your asset, people will start spewing all these rumors about you. So it's important, guys, very important. But look, again, just to end on this topic, what Duke just said. Look, the people, that's what we have. We're on an obligation as panelists on come on these platforms to educate the people, because Right now, honestly, right now, every president got their own. I don't know how to call it. There's a word for it. They got their movement. Like right now, President Boga is if you are doing a real scientific polling, his poll will be he will be very high right now because people have an expectation. So right now, the people are if you notice when the president is even and driving his convoy, people on the streets they cheering him right now. People are cheering him. Right any event he attends, people cheering him. But now let's see what happened. Right now, I was told this morning that they have not paid civil servants for January, but I know they will pay them. But if they continue to delay their pay, they will start getting a little bit frustrated and move on. If things after 100 days, going into the first 3 months, 6 months, if things not changing, people still having problem with electricity. They cannot afford the cost of living is getting higher. People start complaining. But right now, the president is enjoying his. This is time for him to enjoy his time, yeah, where his rating is high. People feel okay. Like today, the meeting had executive management today. People saw the HPX people there. People was, oh yeah, we're about to get jobs. Jobs coming. I mean, to Liberia. People are happy. But if going to the first year, things still the same, things start to deteriorate, people start complaining. So right now, look, the people of Liberia, and the problem I was saying, with the mistake, 2005, right? We said when a new dispensation, they voted President Salif. Her second term, 2011, they said they want continuity. She got her second term. 2000 came to 2017, so want a change, vote for change, vote for hope, for the president we are. 2017 came, 2023 came, they said no, we want to rescue the country. The country needs to be rescued. Now, let's see where the country will be rescued under President Boyka. Like Ben said earlier, President Boyka should be he in the best position. He's a man who he's not thinking about re-election, but he can, if he want to change Liberia, it's in his hand to do it because he can say, look, I don't need, and that's why maybe his appointments, people are not happy already. So the people that help him, the UP people, the Liberal Party, they are not happy that he appointed other people who are not part of the rescue train. But the president is a prerogative to appoint. So right now, it's like I will do what I got to do. If I don't need you guys to say for re-election, I heard somebody writing the other day say, oh, in 2029 coming, you'll see. I won't be in a ballot. He'll be telling us, well, at least I brought the country to this, wherever I brought the country, this where I'm taking this country. So look, let us focus on the way forward. And like Garabo said, the constitution needs to be amended, honestly, especially with the term of president and senators and law. Can you imagine somebody get 9 years? 9 years as senator. And somebody after 9 years, well, I think I'm done. They move on. So look, but guys, let's talk about the audits and the appointments. Anything else? Let's move forward.
I want to jump on the appointment. I want to jump on the appointments if I would. There was an appointment that was made and has been flagged. Okay, we'll get to that part, but the front page newspaper, I want to share this on here, spoke about a guy who is wanted in the United States, Honorable Boykai. This guy is wanted for money laundering. It appears to me more like, and I can share the front page newspaper article with us so we can read it or read through it. But this guy is wanted in the United States for money laundering and other things that he was involved with. Honorable Boykai appears to be attracted or more, connected with people of these kind of characters, behavior. This man was appointed, and Honorable Boykai and Vice President Jeremiah Kuhn are both trying to distance themselves from this appointment. My thing, and what it reminds me of, and this is where I'm going to slightly agree with Keff Hassan here when he say that, the CDC government, we were heavily targeting all the little things in the work. I would expect that this should be one of the hottest topics that should be on the discussion here, because upon the president ascendancy, he started to hang out with a convicted criminal who actually he was seen on camera moving around with, and now he's appointing criminals again that are wanted in the United States. I think we should be concerned about this. And I think the Liberian people should be concerned about this, and it should be discussed, whether it came from the president's office or it came from the vice president's. And I'm hearing, based on the front page article that was written, this individual have close connection to the wife of the current vice president. This is concerning. Liberians should be concerned about this. And if that is the case, Honorable Boycott needs to do the rightful thing.
Chairman Sanvee, weigh in on this, on that.
Well, listen, yeah, I think the president needs to the vetting team, the president's office needs to do a lot more when it comes to vetting these nominees. Definitely, I did see the news. I saw the article in front page. It's disturbing. You don't want that kind of baggage behind you when you do make an appointment. Everybody is innocent until proven guilty, but until you get proven innocent, or proven guilty, when there are certain positions that are of consequence. So I do agree that there have to be some level of scrutiny when it comes to who is being appointed into these positions, especially the position that Mr. Johnson, I believe, was appointed to, which is, I think, deputy director or something at the Roberts. The airport thing, the Roberts information system, is a very important piece at the national airport because at the international airport because it's something that has to do with the Mano River Union, if I'm not mistaken. So I share the sentiment on that. And yes, the president again is the issue of change. They promised to do things differently. The president did promise to do things differently. He did say that he was going to be a whole lot different from the past, not only the CDC government, but he said from the past, the country. One of the things that the president was very clear about saying was that Liberia is not a poor country. We have just had poor leadership. That's one thing he also said. I remember I gave him a hard time for that because at one point in time, he was a leader in Liberia. He was the second most powerful man in the country. But with that being said, he's the president now, and I agree with what what Lofa just said. Picking back quickly on what my brother Kelabo Gonglo said, I was listening when I was coming. I had to run to do something quickly. I agree that there's certain things now. Again, I go back to the notion that President Boka has an opportunity here. He has a real opportunity here to distinguish himself, to become probably one of the most consequential and effective presidents Liberia has ever had. I also stated clearly that those politicians, those people who supported Vice President Joe Boakai, then now President Boakai, who thought that they were supporting him based on the notion that he was supposed to pay them or do something for them. He doesn't have to worry about that because at the end of the day, I want to believe that he really has nothing to lose but to do the right thing. Right? It's not like he's going to be perfect. His administration is not going to be perfect. There are going to be issues with his administration, but overall, I think there is an opportunity here that they need to seize. The Unity Party government needs to seize that opportunity and try to do some of the things that effectively needs to start to move the needle in the direction of structural changes that we need. Okay, we'll talk about the Constitution. I agree. I think there has to be another. Look, that's why I said. Presidents, maybe I'm just too much of a student of American politics, right? Maybe I'm just too much of a student of how great American presidents have seized the moment when they come to power. There are presidents in this country that I remember for certain things, no matter what the cost is, right? Those things, they remember them for it. Barack Obama, the Affordable Care Act, right? Cost him politically. He did it in his first term. Any other president who probably was thinking about re-election, many presidents before him came and didn't want to touch healthcare. The only person who tried to do it was Bill Clinton. He got a beating. I mean, his wife took a beating. All of those things happened, right? Barack Obama came to power and his advisors advised him against it. They said it's such a touchy issue. Don't touch it, Mr. President. You will get hammered in the midterm. And what did he say? He said, what good am I? What is the presidency for if it's not to do big things, right? And true to their word, Barack Obama suffered heavily in that midterm, right? The Tea Party got stronger. All of those things. I mean, today, the Affordable Care Act is still law in this country.
Right.
20 plus million people.
All
they're doing now is they're just expanding it. They're making it better. They're fixing the places that they know that. President Joe Biden has that opportunity now in Liberia. He can call for a very progressive and effective constitutional reform. He can name an effective constitutional reform team and say, listen, y'all change this. Y'all go. Maybe we were afraid where we are when he said y'all reduce the tenure, like Abu said, right? Looking now in hindsight, the country missed a big moment, right? And those of us, all of us who are criticizing George Weah during that, because I was one of the people who were very skeptical. Because why did I get skeptical? Because the CDC people were saying 24 years. So immediately a light bulb went off in people's head. Oh, he won't change the constitution. And not only that, guys, it was because the region started seeing presidents changing the, what a man named Alpha Conde in Guinea. He used that same thing, changed the constitution, said, then he said, I got to start a whole new term. So people were very edgy. But we missed an opportunity because knowing what we know now, George Weah probably didn't have any intention of trying to go for a third term. So I just want to say and end on this note that I think President Biden has a huge moment here in his presidency, and he should do it early on. One thing I give George Weah credit for, early on in his presidency, he proposed some bold things. He was the one who proposed dual citizenship. He pushed dual citizenship through. Before George Weah, presidents didn't even want to touch dual citizenship. He pushed it because he was a popular president. Joe Biden has his moment. He should seize it. He should change the way we do things in Liberia because, like I said, as it stands today, he doesn't look like a man that is going to be seeking re-election, because if he does attempt to seek re-election, he will be 85 years old in 2029. And I'm not sure he wants to do that. So I just think there's a moment here.
I come in, Tomalin.
I come in. Let me say this. We're talking about Lofa raised the issue about this appointment, about this guy. I think, I don't know how many people remember. I think Kelabo he remember. In the 80s, one of our lawmaker was embarrassed. He came to the States and the U.S. they searched the phone. I think they found some stuff in his luggage. He was arrested by the U.S. Immigration authorities. Arrested him. He was arrested, and I think he was either in this U.S. government custody until the war came. And then also too, during the same 80s, I think at the time he was vice chairman of the council, Podia guy arrested too, but he not arrested, but his luggage was searched, even though the U.S. government apologized for it. But I think the people who doing these appointments, the nomination to the president recommendations, you should do proper due diligence. In America, before they give you an appointment, they do a background search on you. They do a complete background. They ask, in fact, the NSA should be the NSA job. So okay, we want to appoint Tomalin George to this job, but do a background check on him, find out whether he's clear everywhere. Because if we continue to do this thing, it will happen one day. They will be embarrassed our officials again. You will travel all the country, and they will say, "Guess what happened? They just arrested one of your officials at an airport, at a border." So I don't know this guy appointment. I think people should really check on it well. If the president was in error with his appointment, I think it will be the best thing to withdraw his appointment. But we shouldn't just accuse the person for like that. But you should check on it and find out really he's having problem with the U.S. government. Yeah, but Duke then Keff.
Yeah, great point. Also, there's checks and balance in government, right? There are other people within government that can hold the president accountable as well. So hopefully do the due diligence, because we don't want any kind of to start off early on that footing. Also, one thing, and this is nothing personal. This is just me being rational and standing on my belief. One thing I wouldn't do in any setting is to pretend as if George Weah was a model president. Let's stop that. George Weah was never the kind of president that anybody can measure the Joseph Boyka anybody to. The truth here is George Weah's leadership was disastrous. He led one of the worst economies in the country. A lot of atrocities that happened under George Weah today, we're still seeking answers for. And all of those happenings, all of those occurrences under the Weah administration is the reason why we're very intentional about our criticism against the Boyka administration. And guess what? If Joseph Boyka does not succeed, we will be holding him accountable just as we're making references to the Weah administration. I think it's important. Talking about the constitutional reform, the amendment of the Constitution, and those things that were suggested under the CDC administration. Guess why it didn't pass? Because there were a lot of pork in that referendum, that constitutional referendum. Here is the fact. The CDC was not clear about what it wanted to do because it had some hidden things in that particular referendum. That's what scared people. And so, yes, Ben, I agree. Joseph Boakai can create his defining moment by doing something different and showing the Liberian people he means business. And that could probably be a constitutional reform, a referendum, because we're still operating on the 1980 Constitution. But you have to be open and direct with the Liberian people about what is included in that particular referendum. That's the first part. The second part here, look, let me say this here clearly. The Liberian people voted for change. Whatever the view has changed, they will have to not determine this year. There are no excuses. After the first 100 days, we will sharpen our weapons and we'll put on our armors to start looking and dissecting the story of this current regime. So at the onset, from the appointments, there's some things I like in the appointment. There's some people that I've seen places that I think I've mentioned in the past about, smart thinking. I like the fact that he has actually challenged his own political party by, bringing on people that a lot of them didn't expect, right? That's a good sign as well. But then there's some questionable ones, like what we're seeing now with an individual that's being questioned and being actually appointed into a position of seriousness. And I think they need to do more. But overall, the story of this government is being written and we'll continue to hold them accountable. But I just want to say, my people, let's be truthful here. George Weah did not want the presidency. George Weah was not an effective president. And the numbers show, economically speaking, let's go back. The CDC administration led one of the worst economy in the history of modern politics. It is a fact. That government ended overall with negative economic growth. It is a fact. That government did not create employment for the downtrodden. It is a fact. Now, the Boakai administration has got no room because in the end, we expect it to be better. The high expectations, we're looking for the government experience. We're looking for the shift in policies. We're looking for the high level of employment. We're looking at some of those things that scream that this particular leadership intends to be different. And those are the things that we'll dissect going forward. And hopefully after 100 days, we'll be able to see the marks of those excellent leadership that people have spoken about. But overall, these are the things that I think we need to be able to discuss further.
Keff, Wayne.
Okay, before Keff come in, I want to say something 30 seconds before Keff. I beg you. So I disagree with Duke on something. George Weah was not the worst president Liberia ever had. Let's move from that, right? And that's your opinion, which is fine. I have no problem with that. The second thing is that the numbers you're talking about, the George Weah, according to the IMF, George Weah government grew the economy. That's the first thing. Now, I can have the argument, I can buy the argument that it was not felt. It wasn't felt. So did the Sirleviers. The Sirleviers, it's something what the people call, what Caribou Gonglo they used to call it, growth of development, pretty much. That's
that's different.
IMF, but when I come into that's the IMF model.
And I would like the opportunity to respond because let's talk facts, let's talk number instead of just speaking.
No. Listen, dude.
I'm
not debating the Weah years. I pointed out something. I talked about George Weah's first set of things he proposed, and I used the word propose carefully. I said, was a populist president who came to power, and he was bold in some of the things that he proposed. It is not a lie. George Weah was the first Liberian president to talk about dual citizenship. If George Weah, as president of Liberia, did not support dual citizenship, you will not have dual citizenship in Liberia today. That is a fact, Duke.
Then there was already the Supreme Court of Liberia.
No.
And then we knew.
Hold on, let him land. And then
the Supreme Court of Liberia already made it clear. Right?
When did they make it clear?
Let him land.
Go ahead and land.
Let him land. Yeah, let him land because there are a lot of other people. Let him chime in. Go ahead.
Look, first of all, that is inaccurate. The dual citizenship enactment happened under Mr. Weah's watch. He signed it.
Man,
He was the president who signed the bill. You don't get dual citizenship in a country based on the Supreme Court's opinion.
man.
You don't. So
Man,
let's establish that
let
fact
Ben
first.
land. So
That's incorrect.
Your turn.
There's a previous case.
Duke,
There was a previous
Duke,
case.
we can't
No,
we can't
no.
go back and
Duke,
forth on this
but
here.
Duke,
Let him
let's say
land.
this.
Duke, let him land. Hold on
But
one second. Ben land.
Let's say this.
Ben land
Even
so
if
others
they-
can Tommy. Do your
Even
comeback.
if the Supreme Court issue an opinion, because that's what the Supreme Court do. They issue opinions. The Supreme Court don't make laws. They interpret laws. When the Supreme Court issue an opinion, it is not law. The law is made by the national legislature, and it still has to go to the president of Liberia. And guess who that president was? It was George Manuel Weah. He signed the law. Again, it was bold on his part to do that. It was George Weah who spoke at his first State of the Nation and talked about citizenship for all races. I was at that State of the Nation address. No president wanted to touch that. He talked about the issue of foreigners owning land. That didn't happen, but those were some of the proposals he made. Like Kerabu Gonglo said, Duke, it was George Weah who proposed, the first Liberian president in our new dispensation, who proposed a reduction of the presidential and Senate and legislative tenure. We fought against it. I admit we fought against it because we said that he had ulterior motives. Now, like Kerabu Gonglo said, again, I'm glad he's on the show. Looking in hindsight, we know now that George Weah were willing to concede with less than 17,000 votes. How in the world George Weah was getting ready to get a third term? My last point I will make on this issue, right, is when you look at, again, I go back to what I was saying earlier. Presidents seize moments. Whether we like it or not, George Manuel Weah will always be remembered as the president who signed dual citizenship. Whether we like it or not, until another president proposes and carry out a referendum to reduce the presidential tenure, that's George Weah's record. And guess what? Your argument about, it was bundled up? No. The issue of presidential tenure were items on the ballot. You could have voted for it and voted no for other things. We in the opposition campaign that we should vote up and down no, and the people listen to us. That's all I'm saying. So this notion that, Mr. Weah, yes, I know people have the issues with Mr. Weah. I know they have the issues, they feel his government was the worst. But like I said, go back to I know you are a numbers guy, go back to the IMF. George Weah administration ended. The IMF last report on the Weah administration is that they had grew the economy by, I think, 3% or something like that. The
3%.
MCC gave them a pass and all.
So
Thank you.
let me lecture you a little bit.
Hold on.
No, Lofa, you cannot interrupt me.
We can't do that. We got
Let Duke respond.
We cannot be discussing something.
But we have others on the platform.
Yeah,
let Duke respond. It's only fair for him to respond.
We're gonna do that in our public step.
Yeah, do 30 seconds. 30 seconds.
We're having a conversation.
Yeah,
it is necessary for us to have these moments. It doesn't mean anything.
It is.
But Duke, respond now. Respond, bro.
It's inaccurate. Don't do that.
Respond.
Don't do that. Honestly speaking.
But here's my thing, though. I'm trying to give
speaking,
everybody the chance to contribute to that part of the conversation.
I urge you to please go back to the Arvin Jallo case, right? It will bring more clarity. George Weah did not start this issue, was already there. There was already clarity.
That's not what I said. That's not what I said.
That's up to you.
But no, that's not what I said. Correct yourself. Correct yourself, Duke. Correct yourself. The Arvin Jallo case, the result of the Arvin Jallo case was not law. It was not law.
That's not my point. My point there is that you started saying as if George Weah should be giving kudos because he pioneered this issue. He didn't pioneer.
I never said that.
Right? No,
I said it was under his administration.
That's what you said.
But Duke, how do you? It's almost like you saying. But let me say this: we're having a dialogue, right? It's almost like you saying, Duke, that Bill Clinton should get the credit for the Affordable Care Act because it was Bill Clinton who started the fight for universal health care in this country.
Absolutely not.
So then what is your point? What is your argument?
Absolutely not. That's not the argument. The point here is, though, we're not going to sell this mask if you were some kind of redeemer or you're some kind of better president. Let's come back to the
apples and oranges.
Let's come back to the IMF, right? The IMF is like a Google bathroom wall, right? You put anything on it. Let me tell you this. What I said, though, cumulative, when you look at the overall economic numbers of the CDC tenure, right? It was bad. It was absolutely bad. And on the show, Professor Larry Kennedy and I spoke about cooking the books. We questioned some of those things that Samuel Twe brought to the IMF. Samuel Twe was one of those individuals. Samuel Twe will see 17% inflation. You say, you know what? Go ahead and teach and make it this. There are evidences of cooking the book. You can say whatever you want. Okay, let's give them the benefit of the doubt. CDC say in the last.
No, it wasn't CDC that said it.
Okay, let's say
the IMF that said that CDC.
It doesn't matter. Overall,
how you say it doesn't matter? The IMF is the gold standard.
What I said, though, from a cumulative standpoint, if you're listening to me, from a cumulative standpoint, this government performed economically poorly. It is a fact. Worse than its predecessor. That's a fact.
Okay. Let me come in now.
The last minute number 3% does not justify over 6 years of inaccuracies when it comes to the economy. Absolutely.
Okay, Kev, come in.
Okay. You know, Ben, you should have and just remind him that you, me, Tom, and Tomalin, Peabody, we host on another platform. We host Ivan Jallo. You remember?
True.
You remember? What was the first word he said? He gave it to President Weah. You remember?
Yeah, I remember.
Matter of fact, I was even joking with you guys on that. And I was even praising him. I said, thank you, Mr. Jallo. He said, President Weah. You see, Lofa, the reason I went at you at the beginning is for what people like to saying. Even though IMF shows that they grew the economy by 3%, he's saying IMF cooking the books.
Was that cumulative growth, Kev? Kev, please understand the difference between cumulative overall. Pierre, my statements was overall. Again, to you, if you compare all of the economic numbers to the 10 of the CDC,
let's not do this. Let's not do this. We cannot do the cross talking. We're not going to get everyone the opportunity to contribute. Let him land. When your time comes, you can always respond to him. I mean, we can't do the cross talking.
Even though the books saying it, right? He disagreed because in his mind, I want to go against George Manuel Weah because I want to go against George Manuel Weah. It's not based on anything. It's not based on anything. Ben trying to say, hey, it's not George Manuel Weah saying it. It's not this. It's what IMF saying it, and IMF saying the truth. He said no. He doesn't believe IMF. But if this were the other way around, he would quote IMF. That's why and you know when they say certain things, I just say no. We're not going to go down that line because Duke no. Let's say for example, I told Duke the last time. I say the Unity Party and will inheriting a better country, a better economy than what we met. He said that's not true. Well, he cannot. He will not. If we go apple to apple, we can explain that. We met $7 million in the operational fund. 7. We left and 40 million. We met under 100 million in the foreign reserve. We are leaving 222 million. We met about 35,000 people under electricity. We are leaving over 145,000 people. Get more people on electricity. We can go on and on. When Joe Buckeye, when we took over from Joe Buckeye, we were at our mansion where at the foreign ministry. When we're leaving, we're restoring back the dignity. of our nation, and we're giving them a mansion that today you saw the president at that mansion. And how we know that? I go back again to Tomalin, I go back again to Ben. When they opened that mansion, we were the first guests of that mansion. We are among the first guests, let me say, among the first guests in that mansion. The president gave us a tour in that mansion. We went all over. So we imagine they have 50 million in the budget. 50 million in the budget for years, nothing. How we know? We saw the budget line and they took us to the mansion. They show us places. Somebody were there, Ben were there, we were there. So when Duke is coming and going in that direction, he going in a direction, those kind of rhetoric that people went against the government. You say, oh, he talk about atrocity. Duke, Joe Buckeye government caused the most atrocity on sedition by killing sedition. You saw it. It's there. I can send you the video. You saw it. That's Joe Buckeye government. They did that. So you cannot come on and just say something where people challenge you. You say, oh, this one is fake, this one is fake. Duke, it don't work that way. Give us something, Duke. Give
Keff,
us something.
don't let me about economic numbers. Let's stop it there. Keff.
No,
Keff.
no,
No, Keff. What we're not gonna do is
Guys, we gotta get
everybody got an error.
No,
right.
This part is not yet. Right. Let us just go around and then you can respond. Right. We're not going to do that. Let's
move forward.
Get a your way. They'll make some progress.
Okay.
Well, let me just say something on this.
I think this whole question, the fundamental question Tomalin asked was on the Donald Johnson issue.
Yes.
That's how the whole thing came. So I think we kind of deviated more.
We deviated a lot.
Exactly.
So, no, my take on the Donald Johnson thing is this is something we see the repetition of that. Under the Seli administration, similar thing happened. And we know how it works around the president. The president usually got people around the president that usually push our own interests. So sometimes these appointments will happen without even much due diligence. But I give Sally credit. Whenever it did happen, she would just record the nomination.
True.
So the issue of Donald Johnson, the right thing to do is President Barker record the person. You can resubmit the same nomination, but you can record the person and do due diligence and then clarify some things. The press secretary to the president can actually appear and speak on that and then resubmit the same nomination. Okay? I mean, that would be my 1 cent advice. But on the issue of the Liberian economy, do I don't know, do background, but I listened to him quite a few times. He speaks on economic issues. I didn't study economics, but I did a little bit of economics. I studied.
You're a mathematician.
I actually did study mathematics and economics.
The math genius.
I'm more on the quantitative side of things. But here, what I would say, the Liberian economy, we are an import-oriented market.
Agree, and that's why I said go for all development.
All these numbers thing we're talking, we can talk about the numbers. I'm not a big believer in IMF and World Bank data because you know what?
That's my point, man.
No. I'm saying I was quoting the IMF because that is our gold standard.
No, so you're good on the IMF issue.
So
you do.
When I say so, I'm not an economist. I'm not the standard of definition of economic growth or bad economy or good economy. No, it's just my personal opinion because you know what? Even the calculation of GDP in Africa, there are faults. In this United States where we live today, just funeral, the contribution of funeral to GDP in the US is in billions of dollars. In Liberia, see what we do there. We spend so much on funeral. It's not calculated in our GDP. So there is still issue on how GDP is calculated in Africa, okay? And goods and services have been provided in different forms, and these things are not captured in the GDP. So for me, those are my issues. So sometimes you talk about the trickle-down effect of how these numbers are reflected by IMF and World Bank. I have issues with that. It doesn't mean IMF and World Bank are not the gold standard. They are. Today, when a country wants to take a loan,
they go to the IMF.
They'll say, what is the IMF rating?
Rate.
What is it?
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
but the view I'm expressing is my personal view. So I would just go back to the Unity Party.
I like that, Kelebo, to at least to say it's your personal view. Yes.
Yeah, it's my personal view.
Yeah.
So let's go back to the Sali administration. That's why I want to say this. When Ebola struck, what happened? Go back to the economic data, historical economic data. You see that growth actually fell. Economic growth actually almost went to zero. I think it even hit negative.
It hit negative, after Ebola. That's true. Yeah. And
in terms of the impact of the Ebola, the only thing is most foreigners left, flight got canceled, and what have you. But COVID-19 has similar impact.
True.
Ships were not moving. Okay.
The whole world shut down.
The whole world stopped. It affected where we import our goods from because we are an import-oriented market. It also affected our economy. It could have been any economic genius leading Liberia. The outcome would have been the same. Okay, so I don't fault with any administration on that because this is a natural event. It's not something that was manufactured and designed by anyone. It's an act of God. Some of us suffer COVID. We didn't want to suffer COVID, but it was an act of God. Mm-hmm. So I don't fault any government or any particular administration on that. So to even argue that is good, and I agree that we are administration. It was not a saint. They had a lot of fault. We criticize them on many things, but also, President, we had this on both things. The last time I was here, I made mention the Unity Park. The Unity Park, that's something that President Salih would have done. Because you know what? She was in the cabinet where some of her cabinet colleagues were killed on that beach.
But she went to the opening and she gave him credit.
Yes. Yeah. That was a bold step that President Weah took, right? When I was here, we criticized the Invincible Park. When I went to Monrovia, I actually went to Monrovia.
Thank you.
I played tennis. In Monrovia, the only public place we have to play tennis is SKD. You go to SKD on the 3 courts. We fight to play on that. You go to Invincible Park, they have courts. I stood there and said, well, why were we criticizing this guy when I was in the US? The Invincible Park is packed every day.
Yep.
Students are there, buses are there. That's the only place I have in Monrovia to go.
And Keff will give you a kiss. Keff, I see Keff will jump through.
No, you see.
Let him finish. Sorry.
Let him land.
We administration was not a sin. They did some bad things. They were very corrupt. Okay, but we did some bold things. Okay, for example, on the question of the turn reduction, it was a bold thing. On the question of the Ivan Jallos used to live next block from me. That's my brother. That's my friend. I know about that case. I know the history of that case in the DC Circuit Court. I know how it started, okay? I'm not going to bore myself on that. And the whole issue, the central issue was automatic loss of citizenship without due process. That was the central thing. And that's what Ivan Jallo set out to do. But on the question of, I will switch quickly on this thing because I don't want to take all of the time. On the question of the referendum that failed, opposition campaign against it.
Yep.
I didn't agree with it, but I was in the opposition. I would say we all campaign against it. Our constitution in Article 93, any of you can go there and read it. Re-follow that. It's very clear. We would have amended and reduced the term of the presidency. The constitution is very clear that if it happens under your term,
it's not retroactive.
In fact, it does not take effect until you leave office.
Until you leave office.
So, yes, it would not have affected, you would not have benefited from it. But to say there were other things inside, like do say, I don't agree with that. There was nothing there. It was clear.
Nothing.
The proposition for referendum is
It was standalone, Kelabu.
Yes,
It was
standalone.
standalone.
Yeah, there was nothing better inside. But for me, because we was bad with communication, our administration was terrible with communication to the public. They were defined by the opposition, rightfully so. And that's what happened. Okay. Yeah. So and I'm going to end quickly on this. I think when we sit on a public platform, we have to come with all degree of integrity. Because there are people who look up to us. We have to say the right thing. Because if you don't say the right thing, people write you off. People start turning off on our platform.
Yes.
And let's take away the emotion. The facts are there. I mean, I we don't have a crystal ball to see what is going to happen in the next 1 month, but I'm happy with some of the appointments that have been made. I'm also not happy with some of the appointments that have been made. Okay? And some of the appointments that have been made for me, they are serious indicators that we may not have a commitment to some of the promises that were made during the campaign, like the promise of the War Crown Code. I think it's gone. It's already in the dustbin.
You don't even talk about it anymore.
It's in the dustbin. Okay, the fact that it was missing from the annual message, which is the legislative agenda, it means for 2024, it's gone. It's gone. We have to wait for the next annual message. The only time it will come in our political discourse, like Yeke Koluba said, he's going to introduce it, or maybe Speaker Funatin Kofa said, you know what, it's going to be part of my plan. And if I were close to Speaker of Kofa, I would actually, like Ben is, I would say, you are a politician. You come from the opposition. Put that on the table. That be the defining debate for this year.
And let the president shoot it down. Yeah.
Look,
thank you,
guys. Let me just.
We had a lot of exchanges directed at me.
I'm here to contribute. Let
made a comment against me.
Yeah, but we're not spending our whole time on this issue.
It's a view on issue. We can't go back and forth.
We can't do that. We're here to bring
I understand.
Y'all make progress.
Let's make progress. Let's make progress. We want to open up the phone line.
Let's give the last word.
Isn't that the same thing that we're criticizing other people for? Is this not the same thing that we're criticizing other people for?
Without a dominating show,
we cannot come on a forum.
But listen,
that provides clarity to people.
Let me give the last word. Let me give direction now. But wait,
but guys, wait now. You're wait now, guys. Let me give some. Let me give a housekeeping now. Housekeeping quickly now. We got less than 15 minutes remaining. So let me say this carefully. So guys, I want you guys to just be very, very brief in your because I don't want to kind of cut you in. Everybody got to speak. Let me welcome Mr. Ure, Ben Ure, the chairman of the ALP, the ALC leaders watching the program. I want to say welcome to the closing argument, Mr. Ure. But guys, let's be honest now. Let us speak on this topic very quickly. We will not spend the whole time on this issue about. I mean, I know personally that President Weah was not the West president, so let us not bring him down. Tell us how going to do. Tell us how going to respond.
Listen. I will say this much because that's not even sufficient time for me to address some of these issues. I'm no longer on this show to speak from a partisan standpoint. I come from an independent perspective, and I'll stick my guns on.
I love that.
Let me just make this clear. What happened over the past 6 years, right? I fought for something. We didn't get there. Now I get to speak from my perspective. Respect that. We won't all agree. We won't all worship the devils that we want to worship, but there will have to be truth in our statements we make, and that's where I come from, right? Finally speaking, let me just say this to all of you here. Our goal is to make sure we're providing clarity to Liberian people. regardless of how bitter it sounds, regardless of how bad somebody else sounds, that doesn't align with what we stand for. We should learn to respect the opinions of each and every one of us.
Yeah, sure.
That's what makes this process a beautiful moment, right?
Right.
Finally, and this is the final point, right? I have nothing personal against George Weah, but I still have those fresh memories of all of the happenings, occurrences under the Weah administration. And I will say this again. George Weah was the worst president in the history of Liberian politics. Economically speaking, from a cumulative standpoint of overall economic average, he performed poorly than his predecessor. From a standpoint where he marginalized the citizens, he performed poorly. People went to the Freedom Park or Unity Park. I passed there. I never had the guts to stop them because I don't care for those things. My fight was about total transformation. And that's why I expect of the Boycott administration. If they fail to do so, our criticism to continue. But I think it was important for me to say this, that I no longer speak from a partisan standpoint. I don't care about anybody's opinion about how you think I should talk. I don't represent a political party. As of today, publicly, I do distance myself from every political party because I think going forward, it is about standing for the truth of Liberia and not having any interference because of my political thoughts. I just want to go on record.
That's why we're the closing argument.
Great point.
Everybody have, like we said, nobody's censor. Yeah, you have your independent free thinker. You can speak your mind. We're not censor nobody. It's your opinion. Everybody got an opinion. But guys, for the last few minutes, let us give our parting comments so we can call it.
Tomalin, I think, Tomalin, honestly, I would have loved to chime in, but we have made several promises over the past weeks. We have not allowed the public to contribute to the conversation. I think this is part of the program. We should at least allow 5 calls from Liberia and at least 5 from here, so people can be a part of the conversation.
Hold on to our,
just come on. We can do that for the next 10 minutes. We can allow people to contribute to this. Again, I want to contribute, but I think it's only fair to allow the public to be a part of the conversation.
I agree with you, Julius. I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, let Henry come on now.
Okay.
Well,
Henry, are you in the back?
Henry, come on. Let's do the thing quick. Lofa advocating for the people because you want to put a revolt against us. We said no.
Henry, take calls. Let's go. Take 5 calls. Let hurry up.
You mute that, Henry. You mute that. Go ahead.
Placing your call 077071635. Then you're going to be live and closing argument. To the very first caller. Hello. How are you, sir?
I'm okay. How do you do?
I'm doing okay. You're different way, Josh.
This is official interpreter. My name is Abraham Kai, and I do join you from Calgary, Florida.
Okay, 1 minute, please.
I want to appreciate you so much for the exposure I've been listening to you from the time. But just the thing, this President Paul Joseph Walker is that if you come on the essence of telling the truth, then that's true to believe. But for the fact that the case to power, and then what was said from the beginning, you have been seeing the true essence of the past government. But for the fact that the laboratory did not listen to the argument that was being predicated on station, and then listen to reaching, and that is what girls, to what we are. Like for example, if you say, drugs are being abused, you, the president, no one accuses you of taking drugs. You're thinking, why didn't you allow to go to drug test for you? Who not spoken and go in there, drug test, and those people accuse you, of your family. The family, people who you don't accuse them, but they not be able to go and do their drug test. So there's a confusing part.
No.
So, for me, have you really seen nothing really that was happening for the fact that they were able to accuse someone on inauguration money, and up to this time we haven't seen, people going to audit them. I think their corruption will remain at Bureau, and they did not come with proof. Look at you.
Okay, Chief. But one thing as a leader, you got to serve an exemplary.
Henry, repeat the call.
Henry, take the call, please.
Yes, man. Yeah, man. You complaining, you won't go, then you talking. You give me one call. Put the call.
After this call, how are you?
Yeah, nobody.
How are you?
I'm okay.
Your name from where you join us?
I am George Willie calling from Liberia.
Okay, George, will go ahead?
Well, I join you from District 17, Motorado. Well, let me firstly commend you guys for the show. I've been following the closing argument. I've been a silent listener. I commend you guys. You have been objective. But this is my point. Uh, the issue about this rescue thing, we are not seeing anything yet. Absolutely nothing we have seen. In the first place, was so around here that the United Party's government they said that Mr. Weir was suffering us. The prices of commodity were high.
Okay.
And therefore, they said Mr. Weir cost civil salary. So as such, they were going to increase it. Mr. Joe Biden, during his annual message, he never said anything about that. During the inaugural speech, he didn't say anything about that. And now he's telling us about BBC war fighting in Ukraine. The United Party is not honest with us.
Okay.
The first thing we expect for them in rescuing us is to deal with the bread and butter issue, my people. All that thing you are doing over there, you now want to control us in this country. The United Party is not correct, George Weir. We know Mr. Weir lacks it. So we can tell you for free that Mr. Weir is to be corrected, civil salary must increase, and therefore the prices of commodity must reduce. Mr. Weir was facing road. I think Joe Biden talking about facing bridge road from Gable Bridge to Zimbabwe. We're not listening to that thing. Let our referee be done first.
Okay, no problem.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Okay, no problem.
You can be Joe Duke Party so.
77017 number to call.
Duke, I'll get membership to your party.
Let's call. How are you?
Chat, you're not gonna be easy. Shit.
Hello. Torres Color, how are you? No, we're gonna keep you on the line. Let's get someone.
Duke joining my party. What do you mean? Can be
Oh yeah, that's
Duke,
true.
my party.
635. That's the number to call. Torres Color.
Somebody said you will be the Jaeger Color.
How are you?
You can't grant you that. You can make your name there.
Your name from where you join us?
Yeah, put it up a little bit, Henry. Put the volume up a little bit. We can hear him.
Andrew, you have to be audible a little bit, please. Okay. Oh.
And I want to stop to better Ben.
Ben is listening to you. But there are people that is now on the show tonight.
There you go. Check get hit no more. Get hit no more, yeah?
But Henry, I thought you were going to call this man earlier.
Now the same person?
Yes.
Yes, that's
read the number. Let him call his number. Call your number out.
Call this man earlier before the show started.
Call your number out. Jeff, call it quick. Call your number quick.
081. 544-827.
827. Okay, what's his name?
Andrew Masakwe.
Okay, thank you. I will call him. Next caller, let's go.
This guy, he's been behind me and saying you want to commit suicide.
Yeah, I will call him. Let's go.
We had that conversation in the back.
I will call him.
Go ahead.
I got him.
7701765. We'll take just 30 more calls. And then we'll turn back to the panelists. 77017 That's the number to call. To this caller. Hello. How are you? And even wait on.
You gotta put it to the mic, right? Good. We can hear him.
Your name?
Calling from Simple.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes. Concerning about this Joseph Waka. Joseph Waka is our president. Joseph Waka told us that he was going to rescue us. We call him the rescue child. But we haven't seen any rescue team, anything for rescue team.
Hey, man, it's just 2 weeks, man.
They post their race in the government.
Hey, not even more talk now.
Yeah,
Yeah, man.
Okay, go ahead.
We can't leave this country, change the way the country looks like, and let God we have saved this country.
Oh.
And he come out to say he rescued him. Corporate are going to, corporate is $50, corporate are going to be $25, and now corporate is $60. So why he come to rescue now?
All right.
All right.
Next caller, please.
Thank you.
I know Kevin when I call it in.
770-176-35. That's the number to call. To this caller.
Hey, last person, eh?
Good morning.
Hey, man, there's 2 more.
Oh.
How are you?
I'm fine.
Your name from where you join us?
I'm Emmanuel Brown calling from Johnson Township.
Okay, Emmanuel, 1 minute to the point.
Yeah. First of all, let me tell you guys, thank you for the topic on the discussion. You know, the previous government has done one good thing in this country by leaving many marks. And so the citizen high expectation on this new government, the rescue government. We want to encourage them that our expectations are high, and we are seeing changes at least. So we expect them to do more because any other thing we see from them, maybe they will not perform as the previous government. Will also change them, so we want to encourage them. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Just 2 more, and then we'll turn back to you. 770-176-35.
Elle a des méthodes. Bah, mais dis le même, elle avait été quoi? Il a tombé. Il a studio.
Why you quiet?
Good morning.
Take your call, January.
Okay, Marco, go ahead. 1 minute.
No, Master, you know the devil came to steal, kill, and destroy. Joseph Burger came to steal, kill, and destroy.
So he's the devil.
Yeah, the Bible said the devil came to steal, kill, and destroy. Joseph Burger and his team, they came to steal, kill, and destroy.
My man, respect the leader, bro. Respect the leader. 770-176-35. That's the number to call. Respect the leader, my man.
Kev laugh. Kev.
The last call. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
How are you? Your name from where you join us?
Thank you for having me here. Let me appreciate you. My name is Andrew Moses.
Keff Hassan.
I'm executive member of the Labrador Show Callers Association.
Huh?
Okay.
And let me appreciate all of our distinguished panelists on the show. I think it is important that we got to speak that thing. When President Weah was building rules in this country, the Unity Party people were asking that rule will eat. When President Weah was building marketplaces, taking our mothers from under the ring, building them state-of-the-art market to sell, the Unity Party people were asking that market will eat. So we from the CDC, that are on the time to ask our own question. Joseph Baker, like Georges will eat. Joseph Baker, that declaring your assets will eat.
President Joseph Boakai, point of correction, my man.
The Unity Party will have to be serious in this country. And I think the Liberian people have already started to regret the minute, the hour, the day they even voted against President George Manuel Weah. Because that did not sleep one day because of this. This is the man that has sleepy at night. This is the man that went restlessly, very tirelessly to make sure that Liberians be alleviated with the 12-year property that Manasseh Lee and Joseph Baker labor in. We, the Liberian people, we I don't know, we don't feel for ourselves at times. Because to even come back to make Joseph Baker president for this country, it's a serious contradiction. Joe Baker, nobody has accused you of being a drug addict in the country. Why you rushing to take drugs there? Get a somebody not tell you, say, Joseph Baker, you get drugs in your blood. What we are encouraging Joe Baker to do right now
Okay.
All right,
Thank
let's take some more calls, please. Hey, Henry, take 2 more, 3 more calls. Let's go.
No, Henry 4.
Henry, take the calls, man. Let's go.
Good morning.
Good morning, Henry.
Okay, 1 minute. Stick to the point.
Listening to this show.
I'm James Blama Kamala, and join the conversation from Ghana Zero. Let me appreciate the panelists on the show. This is our country and land from others saying that we are government, the West government, history. I think that would be the government, of which I don't pray for, but we were able to create honorable podcast from start to end, and he has given me I point to those that you have been able to help as a leader of this country until coming to the presidency. The only thing I can see about his life is that his life has changed overnight because he has become president of the Republic of Nigeria. So at this time, we are now going to school. We are students of the University of Nigeria and other schools, and other university students are going to school while we are sitting home. And that was what we were not praying God for, and today he has come, and today we sit home doing nothing. Then we will be even talking about job when we are sitting home.
Okay,
so
thank you.
Just saying that let us continue to pray for our country. The country is on the time bomb. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Okay, that's it. We turn back.
Okay, thanks, man, guys. Look, we out of time, man, guys. I mean, the callers were interesting tonight, man. Very interesting callers. But again,
so you don't want us to make closing statement?
No, let's do. We can do
comments. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, let me be quick, and I have to leave and stuff. Dr. King,
you're not going nowhere, Duke. You will listen to all our closing statements.
1 second, man.
You guys to go.
There's a quick point. Dr. King said there comes a time, right, when one must take a position that is neither safe, political, not popular, but he must take it because conscience tells him it is the right thing to do. I want all of you, there's a story in all of this. One of these days, some of you will get it, but I want you to follow along. And I want you to watch heightened hypocrisy, the hypocrisy of the Liberian people. And I want to show it to you quickly here as we end. A few months ago, my brother Keff was on the show fighting because he felt that people were censoring him from speaking. You remember those calls from everybody who were calling on the line, saying those things about George Weah and his government. Look where we are today. Duke now is the one being censored. In addition to that, we have callers on the line now. Some of the people who supported those bad behaviors. Some of the people who have been honest with the former president to hold him accountable when we're speaking some of those things to guide George Weah on the path, on the right path. Those people fought us. Today, they are now the callers criticizing all of the issues in Liberia. But my point here is, I don't appear on the show going forward from a political party standpoint. But I'm telling a beautiful story. And I'm sending a message to a lot of young Liberians who have the gift to move people, to fight for the country, to stand up for the truth. Don't become political puppets for political institutions, because all they see is that gift that you have. They see that it's good to be able to push the message, to tell that story, but they don't care about you. Today, I could have lost my life defending political institutions. A lot of you don't know. But the hypocrisy in all of this, some of the people who stood with me before, watched the feed, are the ones now insulting me and saying all of those things. Some of the people who hated me before, of all the things I said against the Unity Party, they now lost some of the things I've seen. There is a beautiful story being told here today. And one of these days, some of you will understand. Until you grasp that important point, we are far away from resuscitating Liberia or moving that country in the direction that it needs to go. But I stand ready to take the bullets, because in the end, this story will end in a beautiful way. And when it ends, I will be here to remind you all and tell you that Liberia deserves better than all of the hypocrisies that some of you have shown. This is my closing argument.
The great Duke.
The great Duke.
Dude, you gonna stay on, right?
Calabo.
For the respect of the rest of the guys.
The men are going nowhere.
Quick, I just want to make this closing point. One of the callers actually made a point about the drug test. On another show, I made my point on the drug test issue, actually. Because as a public policy, I don't see the essence of that drug test.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I actually made a statement on our show to the effect that if I were an elected official, I would. Oh,
Something
sorry,
playing. Hey, what is this? Something playing in the background.
sorry. No, I'm a Real Madrid person. I'm watching it.
For the sake, I know I heard football game.
So, if I were an elected official serving the legislature, I would not take that drug test
Agree.
because it is a catastrophic policy. Someone goes and tests positive. What do? Do you have rehabilitation place?
Mm-hmm.
Where is it? Historically, Liberia has never invested in that. Okay? So what you want to do? It's not even a low-hanging fruit. Taking drug tests. Do you have tests for Kush? What tests do you have? Where is the rehabilitation? So I think the president, this is a political attempt, which I don't know the aim of that, because what they say, is it like CDC official were taking drugs? Is that an issue? I mean, I'm sitting down thinking, why is somebody driving the president to take drug tests and putting Nino in our president arm? Why? Why is the president doing that? I think someone misled the president on this. The drug test is a totally useless public charade. I think it should be scrapped.
Thank you. Let me use this opportunity quickly to give my closing argument here. What I did earlier to Duke, if I had to, I'll do it again. We start from home when we have to address a situation or issues. Duke is a brother to me. If I come on this platform and hold people accountable for over talking, I will do it to Duke, and I'll do it again, and I'll do it again, and I'll do it again. Because we must start with ourselves if we are going to change Liberia. If I can stop Duke, I will stop anybody else on this platform from having to interrupt or overtalk another person. In regards to the issue on the discussion, and the reason why I'm discussing is because this is simply an example of what we started and we will continue to do here. Regarding the president drug test or whatever, let me be honest with you. I think it's a bluff and it's a gross disrespect to what Liberians are asking for. The people in Liberia are not looking for symbolic acts. We are looking for more than that. We want way more than what the president is playing with. Secondly, the president asset declaration and hiding his assets declaration. It is simply what President Weah and his entourage did, and today we are complaining. We want the president declared and publish his assets. Finally, the recent appointment that was made, the president appointed an individual, okay, was someone we will consider a convict or a fugitive, however you want to term it, the legal term. And here we are again, we are talking about the possibility of him having to retract that appointment. It tells us that the president is not utilizing what he claimed he came with. 40 years of experience, wisdom, that he should be honestly moving Liberia forward. Unfortunately, it is not being seen. We are not experiencing it. We're not sensing it. We are asking Honorable Boykai to start to do something a little bit different than what he did previously. Let's move Liberia forward in a much more positive direction and transform the nation. Thus far, I am not sensing it, and I think he could do better. Thank you.
Kev.
Listen, guys, quick. I'll make it quick. You know, and after we left Liberia 1990 for the war, we went to Sierra Leone, and one of the things and that we said among ourselves that wow, we fought war. Liberia was better than Sierra Leone. We left electricity. Electricity was not there. Drinking water was not there. A lot of good things, street lights, all those things, red light on the street, nothing. But we criticize though and compare to other countries, and we were wrong. We did the same, and Liberia doing it did the same thing to George Weah, and we're proving that we're wrong again. I'll leave it.
Chairman Ben, take us home.
Thank you. Great show, guys. I enjoyed it. I thought it was fascinating. Duke, we still have our date to go out and do our thing. You right, inshallah. But let me say this. And no, I mean no shade here. I think I love the fact that we can all have our respective opinions and respect one another. I agree with you, Duke. Everybody should have a chance to say what they want to say, because at the end of the day, I don't think anyone loves Liberia more than the other person. We all love our country. We may just have different pathways on how we want to see Liberia do well. My closing argument on this issue is very clear. On the issue of the drug test, Kelabu, I agree with you 100%. I'm not sure if you listened to me earlier. I think it's a total waste of time. I think what I want to see from the president is I want to see some bold action, some bold decision. He has executive power, right? He should be announcing. I know he announced some kind of a task force in his State of the Nation address, but it was too vague. I wanted to hear some direct things to say, listen, in fact, he should have declared drug not a public health emergency, a national security threat. He should have elevated he should have elevated drugs to the level of declaring war. That is what I probably wanted to see from the president, to see how aggressive he was going to be, right? So I think this notion of him taking a drug test, again, like I said, Mr. Boyka knows his base. President Boyka knows his base. He did it to feed them red meat. They've chewed on it, and I think that's it. By the way, there are 6 rehabilitation centers constructed by the Liberian government, the George Weah government. Again, Kelabu, you are right. George Weah government was horrible when it came to communication and PR. Extremely horrible. I was surprised to see during the campaign when he was visiting some of those centers with some of those young people who are going through treatment right now. It was there. I saw it on the internet. So, and from what I know is that there are 6 of those centers across the country. I think President Boyka has something to build on. He should build on that. He should be more aggressive. And I think it's time now to start being very aggressive when it comes to the drug. My last talk, I'm hearing your feedback. I don't know what. So you hear somebody. My other talk on the issue of boldness, I think the president of Liberia has an opportunity, like I said before. Joe Boyka has the potential to be probably the most consequential and possibly the greatest president we have seen in our lifetime. Because, again, politically, as far as we know today, he owed nobody. He's not going to go beg nobody for another vote in 2029, right? So he should make those tough decisions. He shouldn't worry about being popular. He shouldn't worry about how they're going to cuss him on Facebook, what we're going to say, because at the end of the day, he could end up being the Kwame Nkrumah or Jerry Rawlings of Liberia, where 10 years down the line, people will say, you know what? Joe Boyka made some tough decisions, and that's the reason why the country is on the trajectory that it's on. But overall, I thought it was a fascinating conversation, guys. Look forward to more fireworks next week. We're gonna continue to do this, and we're gonna continue to have these conversations. And thank you
for my closing. There'll be a breaking news next week. Y'all get ready to hear that breaking news. Let me just announce too. We have reggae special at the high table tomorrow. The high table in my announcement, guys. Reggae special at the high table in Germantown, where you have Mark and Randa. Mark will be there tomorrow. Don't miss it. The high table will have reggae special tomorrow in Germantown.
Reggae special, eh? Damn.
Yeah, headed by our chairlady. And then go
Germantown. Oh, you in Maryland, Calabo?
No.
Go Chiefs. Go Chiefs, go Nigeria. Go Chiefs, go Nigeria. Go Chiefs, go Nigeria. Go Chiefs, go Nigeria. Go Chiefs, go Nigeria.
Mr. Gongo, I'll call you right after here. But it was a good show.
Dude, watch out the breaking news next week.
We got to talk about the worst president in Liberia history. That's a good thing.
Who would that be? Duke? Who would that be?
Plus, we are.
Let's do that. See you guys.
That's not how Vision 2023. What
come on. Let's by the way, every Tuesday. By the way,
our former president has been relegated to parts.
Duke, let me announce this real quick. Every Tuesdays and Thursdays, across Africa is going to be live every Tuesday by popular demand.
Go Super Eagles Nigeria.
The
I
fact
travel
that we're not
Nigeria.
having it on.
Combination.
So
I travel
we'll be
for
on
the
there.
Let's try to
Breaking news.
discuss now social issues.
We made that president to be community
That was social issues.
No,
So
Mr. Gongo, that was not Talk Liberia. It's the network have different programs, so you probably keep on the social one. Yeah, no, it wasn't. I know.
You'll be
Go Chiefs, go
discussing
Nigeria. Go Chiefs, go
parts.
Nigeria. Go Super Eagles.
Yeah, I'll get with you. Go ahead.